we're live! I never get to say that.
That's my line! That's my line!
Well, guess what? I'm running the stream now, bitch.
Wow.
No! Welcome, everybody. We're here we're here in a hotel. Hi, I'm Brian. You can see our faces for once. I am the host of this here podcast, and I am also the head of the audio department at KRWBY Productions, and the voice of Neptune Vasilius in RWBY Abridged. Neptune Vagina Sales, yeah! And to my left, I have...
Hi everyone, I'm Neil on the server. You guys can call me Annika. I am head of the HR department. That is just really fancy term for making sure nobody fights. I make sure everybody's happy and fed and watered properly. I didn't get my juice today. We're going to...
I got my water here. It's not quite watered. I should point out, all of us here are over 21. Drink responsibly, kids.
I made sure I checked all of their IDs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I voice... Neo! Don't you like my Neo impression, everybody? I think it's really good. Go ahead.
You're not a floating head and hand anymore as compared to the other day.
Yeah.
Hey guys, what's up? As Brian said, we're all of the good old legal age supporting Angry Orchard.
Not sponsored.
My name is Tina Mickle. I am the voice of RWBY and good old Emerald here at RWBY Abridged, as well as I help do a bunch of other stuff.
You're one of our producers.
I feel weird always saying it because I feel like
she's like she helps run the whole show.
Help make the show happen and keep it going. Not just the Abridged, but
you run the whole channel.
I'm like, guys.
You're like one of the main people that runs the whole channel.
Poorly, but sure. Let's go with that. I'm gonna pass it right along to.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Bo. I voice Winter and Ilya for KRWBY Productions. I am the new proverbial head of the VR short department, as well as I guess that makes me a director, a writer, one of the lovely hosts of Perpetually Ajar, out every Tuesday, and or every other Tuesday. Sorry, I'm advertising wrong. And currently part of the admin team.
Yeah.
And currently, what are you trying to imply? Listen, I haven't put in my 2 weeks. Nothing.
Listen, I am formally on the VR team. Formally. Okay, I quit.
Soon to be maybe a motion capture. Part of the motion capture team.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna help. I just won't be as heavy as I used to.
But anyways, what about you, our lovely voices in the sky?
Yes.
Yes. My name is Ian. I am a jack of many trades, master of none, such as my great dismay. I have 2 jobs. I help admin with Bo, and by that I mean I bring the water whenever they ask, as they do their actual job, and I help manage the stream for this. Oh wait, no, I don't do that anymore. So I have one job. But I'm here. And I'm one of the original crew, along with Brian and our next invisible head.
Yes, that would be me. I am the other guy who is on this KRWBY talk, and that's about it. That's all I do.
His name is Forrest, or so he says.
The vast forest.
Yeah.
No one has seen his face, but someone has somehow confirmed that he exists.
Hey, Forrest, how many times have people asked you if you run?
Every time I move faster than a walking pace.
Run, Forrest, run.
So before we hop into it, because we are definitely going to be talking about lovely RWBY Volume 7, I wanted to, what? You're looking at me real weird.
I got a pocket full of pennies. I'm ready for this podcast.
Oh my God! Really?
I suppose we should, before we get too deep into it, we should say, if you have not seen RWBY Volume 7 Chapter 1 yet, spoilers.
Pennies.
Better get
Those are my
out.
spoilers. But you know what? Hey, at least I don't have to make the joke anymore about penny being turned into quarters.
So, in any case, just a little backstory. I know we already did this on the pre-show, but for anybody here who did not watch the pre-show, just a quick first episode rundown. Ian Forrest and I have been doing this podcast for several years now. We've been doing it since Volume 3. And we got acquired by KRWBY very soon, basically immediately after Volume 6 finished airing. Mm-hmm. So but it started with RWBY, and so this is this is the first time that the podcast has been officially on the KRWBY channel as official KRWBY content.
Mm-hmm.
And we're super excited.
Not just like a special host like we did for ALA last year.
Exactly.
Hey
and
Brian,
yes.
do us all a favor and speak in the center of those two mics, not just kind of into one and kind of further away from the
you're
other.
gonna need to just deal with my bullshit. Okay. And I need to mute up a bunch of people because my Discord fucking cut out and it's weird. All right, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
So, I'm going to go ahead and jump in and I know I'm skipping way ahead to a lot of other stuff that's happened in between, but I absolutely 100% was in love with the fact that we had this bomb dropped on us in episode 1. So we did find out, though, that this episode was supposed to be the end of last season from Miles and KRWBY. They said it at RTX. And that didn't happen. And I'm so glad it didn't, because what we saw up to the point in the preview that was released at Comic-Con, the same, the extended part of the clip that we saw at RTX, was that you have Penny, who is revealed to be not only alive and well, but upgraded, and that they were able to salvage her core. And
oh, sorry, because there's a little bit of confusion because people are still just tuning in right now. Did we already go over the paying for first and whatnot?
Oh, let's go ahead and
okay,
talk
yeah,
about
that's
that
right,
first. Yeah.
Before we get further into it, because people are kind of asking about what's going on, and just again doing the spoiler warning.
I think it's also going back to what Bo was saying. It is absolutely 100% imperative that you do not pirate this by any means. We all love RWBY. We all want to watch it. But if you can't afford first, that's totally understandable. That's fine. Not everyone has the money to throw at it. Luckily, Rooster Teeth is oh so gracious and gives you the option to watch it online free a week after it's out. If you can't wait, stay off the internet, put on those spoiler filters on Twitter. That is an option. Look in your settings. You can put keywords in so you don't see it.
You can mute specific hashtags, and as long as people are using proper hashtags to tag their spoilers, you can absolutely avoid all of it. Same goes for Tumblr. I would put out a general, hey guys, if you have a lot of friends on Facebook, and be like, hey guys, please don't post any spoilers. Let me, catch up to it when it's free. I feel like generally speaking, if a friend of mine was like, yo, I really like this show, I don't want to be spoiled, I'd be like, okay, cool, I'm going to actively avoid spoiling it until I see that they've watched it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So generally speaking, if you just request that people not spoil things, I feel like it should work. But yes, it is absolutely imperative that you do not pirate this, because that is exactly how shows get canceled.
And just to add, pirating can include watching it together with your friends on sites like Watch Together, watching it through any means that aren't necessarily through Rooster Teeth. It's not their account. You're giving away something that you paid for. It's behind a paywall for a reason. It not only supports Rooster Teeth, supports the artist, makes the show keep being able to happen. If you don't want to pay for it, then that's fine. You can wait. If you can't wait and you're worried about being spoiled, pay for an account. If you can't justify that, then you don't have any reason to complain. Just to also add, if we find that people are pirating things, or even suggesting pirating, or offering solutions to where people can watch it on our Discord, anywhere on here, you will be blocked, you will be banned. We are not playing around with that. We love Rooster Teeth, we love RWBY, we're not going to allow people to blatantly disrespect them like that. So
that goes for sharing the opening, because a lot of people have been sharing the opening in our Rooster Teeth Volume 7 spoilers chat, and the opening has not been officially posted on any channels whatsoever, therefore it is still behind the paywall, and that's not okay.
If you're wondering if you can share it, if it's on Rooster Teeth's public domain areas like YouTube or other means like that, they post it on their Twitter, okay, cool, share it, but please be respectful. Other people may not have first, so they do have to wait that week, and they are being respectful of those rules, so please be respectful to your other community members and whatnot. I just want to get that housekeeping out of the way.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make it clear, I'm going to say it here, I'm going to say it in the server later, we're not playing around with it. So when you're all of a sudden banned because you post where to pirate the site or pirate the episode, we're not playing around with that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have friends who work there now, and not even so aside from that, it's just being a decent human being. We want to do right by them as we would hope that they would do right by us if it was something of our content. We like to treat people how we would wish to be treated. So
absolutely.
It's just common decency.
With that said, I know we already said it a little earlier, but we still got people rolling into the stream. Spoilers for RWBY Volume 7, Chapter 1. So if you're not a first member and you care about spoilers, don't watch this pod. Watch it a week from now. Tune in. It's gonna be archived. You can find it. But yeah, so this is just if you care about spoilers for the new episode, which is currently only available for first.
And only available on Rooster Teeth's website.
Yep. Then make sure that you understand that we're going to be talking all the spoilers.
Oh, I do want to point out, actually, as a big surprise to me, on the Rooster Teeth Animation YouTube, they have uploaded Volume 6, Chapter 1. They're now uploading Volume 6 to YouTube as well. Yep. So for anyone that, for whatever reason, had their resignations against the Rooster Teeth website, I know that Rooster Teeth's apps on like PlayStation and Xbox don't work very well. Their apps on like Roku don't work very well, so a lot of people just genuinely couldn't access the website for whatever reason. It's going on YouTube now, so if you've been waiting that long, then good on you. You've got more self-control than I've got.
Last thing I want to point out, though the episode did come out yesterday, the podcast has been traditionally happening on Sundays. I did want to point out that they had the extra live stream, so to those who tuned in, thank you so much. We raised over $1,000. The goal was $1,000. I think the number's somewhere close to like 1,500 by the end of it, 14 something. Yeah. We're still waiting on the final numbers to roll in because we had some issues with some of the accounting stuff with
the
Extra Life's website. But don't worry, everything is all good and sorted, and keep an eye out for that. We will have a final number and tally to post up on our community tab here, as well as on the Discord server. So, shout out to you guys for supporting the Children's Healthcare Atlanta, and, we're glad to see the game and go to good use. And shout out to everyone who was part of that stream, both watching and playing and donating. So, without further ado, are we ready?
Yeah, so, I guess we should just, I kind of want to, try to go through a little bit in chronological order.
Notes, I ship it.
That's not at all in chronological order.
No, not at all, it's fine. It's just relevant.
I wanted to first start, because, this is the first time we've seen, actually, we're not really seeing Atlas yet, we're seeing Mantle. What do we think of Mantle?
It's really pretty.
Yeah, right? I love
it. It's really not pretty. Well, really, from an animation standpoint, it's beautiful. Especially so... Tina and I had the chance to go to RTX this year, and so the scene that happens at the very beginning when they're going down the streets and they're fighting the Grimm is the scene that they showed at RTX, and it's so nice that we can kind of finally talk about it because we got to see it when it was really rough. The buildings were still grayscaled. They had these floating orbs that were see that? Those are crowds. What? They weren't people at all. So I love it. Mantle looks so cool. I love how grungy it is, and the air doesn't look very clean or anything.
It has a very industrial feel to it, which is how I would expect Mantle to be. It's this busy, bustling, working support to Atlas, really, the floating metropolis in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you do? Sirens talking about Mantle. That is a very common sound you hear, is these sirens, this war, this battle, this rundown, almost like back alley New York.
Yeah, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds to it, but I absolutely adored the sound work of this episode. There was just so much cool stuff. I really want to sit down and dissect it more, because the sound, everything about the show just gets better every season, and the sound is no different.
That is, man. And it's funny, too, because we all look at it from a different perspective. You're looking at it from a sound perspective. Bo and I'm not sure where you guys are looking at it from, or Forrest and Ian. For me, I'm just I don't know. I'm all about RWBY.
Annika?
About what I think about Mantle?
Mantle, yeah.
I think Mantle is it's beautiful in that it's disgusting, I guess. It's just
it's so gross.
Seeing it in 3D is beautiful, but seeing the 2D concept art of it during the credits was just really fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's this it's dark, and I love the color palette. It's got this orange it's just really cool. I love the color palette to it.
Yeah.
Adding on to that, I really loved the motion capture, and Bo pointed out too, it has such a fluid movement to it, and it looks like they used, I don't know if this is true or not, maybe it's just from what it looks like, that they used a different sort of shader or maybe engine properties or something to render it, because it just looked so much more smooth. It felt so much more real and fluid for movement and less like just, oh, they animated this, but more lifelike. Like, I really feel like the animation game was top notch here, as well as the lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I really do we know if Barker worked on Mantle at all?
He did.
He did?
Mm-hmm.
Barker.
He's
Hell
right
yeah.
in the credits in the first episode,
Yeah.
and it's really fun knowing from like last year till now, because I was on an episode with you guys for it, and then now going, okay, so I know so many of these names now. I've gotten to, all of us have had a chance generally at one point or another to meet some of the people on the team and go, okay, cool. And more of the names are less of just the name on the credits, but more like, oh, that's awesome.
Like friends and whatnot.
Yeah. And it's really cool to pick their brains on it, especially now that they're able to talk about it and be like, okay, cool. Tell me, I need to know about this. I need to pick some folks' brains on it.
I want to point out that the last time when we had this podcast on the KRWBY channel was the episode before Adam got killed.
That's right.
And so it was funny because that was when Barker was just like he was joking about like, oh man, Blake and Yang, they held hands, they're canon.
We're all like, but. I found it funny though that you were pointing out that, I think Adam's gonna die, and then Barker's he just cracks me up because you're like, are you throwing me off or are you leading me on? I don't know. But he's really good about sticking true to his NDA and just keeping us on edge. He definitely teases us.
Yeah, he definitely runs us in circles of like, wait, is he being serious? I don't know. Is he being serious? Like,
Barker, I can say confidently, has never broken that. He's just very much.
He could tell me that Penny's nose would start growing instead of the hiccups, and I would probably believe him.
But yeah, so Forrest, Ian, what do you guys think of Mantle?
I actually kind of like it. Like, even like the stuff down below, it's old, but in a nice way. Like, I know there's like a whole bunch of like damage to the city, but if you were to like fix that up, I think it'd be a pretty decent place at least to like hang around and to actually make a living.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, even in its ugly state, beautifully rendered by the team at Rooster Teeth, and the animations of the people and the combats that would take place there were just so wonderfully animated. And I'm the bloodthirsty one, I keep saying around here. I want my action to excite me, to get my adrenaline going. And the combination of the environment, the context, and how well animated it was just blew me away. I'm actually rather glad this was the first episode of Volume 7 rather than the end of Volume 6. For that very reason.
That is fair. That's really fair. Also, I mean, like, I kind of like, what do you want to bet? The reason why that wasn't the end of Volume 6 was because it was just like one too many huge like environment builds.
They did say that. That's what they said. They didn't have assets ready.
Oh,
they would have to basically completely reestablish like lighting and like all of that. And it was like, it's easy when it's going to be a part of the season and it's going to be a regular occurrence because they're going to be able to justify using it.
Right.
But having to build all of that before they were necessarily ready to settle in Mantle was where the problem was. And so that's one of the reasons why they decided to end it where they did.
But, before, I guess when we get to the point later, talking about why it would be so terrible if they cut it off at that point, because I do want to say that when we get to it, I was really interested to see how quick moving forward, and that Blake was kind of submissive to these two thugs on the drunken folks. And
I mean, I think it was like, Blake, I think that's pretty like in character for Blake because she always like runs from fights, so she was like trying to like dial it back and like not start anything,
Well, and I get that, but I think it's just it was so humble for her to not necessarily not be able to start fights because she always would be the one to like run away and just not deal with things and be like whatever. But she's like, you know what? I did insult where you're from, and that was not what I intended. So I'm sorry. Like I felt like it was genuine.
Well, it's also a matter of this is somewhere where Blake is not at ease. Like they expected to arrive in Atlas and expected to be surrounded by allies, surrounded by people that were going to be able to help them. And already they're in a very strange place, and they're not surrounded by allies. They're very much in this estranged like country. They're in a different country than they're used to, and she's very out of her element. And on top of that, it's like they don't want to draw attention to themselves, which she even says to RWBY. Like RWBY was ready to throw down, and she was like, no, like, we can't draw attention to ourselves. And so it's kind of like, it's very much so, she knows now that they're going to need to really pick and choose their battles down here. Because all someone just...
Are we just not gonna question the fact that like Atlas Air Traffic Control just like didn't do jack about the fact that like they just like left their route and they went and landed somewhere? Like, I'm sorry, like a military like that, they're gonna send they're in a military unit, like they're gonna send fighters out immediately.
But here's the thing: as quick as they departed from where they were, like in real time, they broke away and within minutes were on the ground. So and
but except with fighters already in the air, they would have had fighters on them as soon as they broke from the route and didn't respond by 30 seconds.
Well, if
possibly
this
true,
was like
but they could have also anticipated that. Maybe I don't know what they could have anticipated. Maybe you're right there, but I think it wouldn't be.
Suspension of disbelief.
It wouldn't be obscene for them to break away, but obviously they had to have some idea who it was. Because within minutes, if you want to get technical in the length of the episode, you can assume there's been no more than an hour of time that's passed. You have these folks on them by the end of it. But the thing that I find interesting is that you have, Blake being like, I need to do what's right by the team, no matter if I, agree with it or not, say sorry. And then here you have Weiss just being like, nah, fuck that shit.
Yeah, because she's familiar with these people from Atlas.
Yeah, no, and I really love seeing, like, we already saw a little bit of it, like, in Volume 6, where, like, Cordovan was, like, looked at Blake and was like, people of questionable character and whatnot, obviously referring to the fact that she's a faunus. And so I would also like to point out that on last week's stream for the pre-show, I said, and I quote, that I think, that one of the main issues that a lot of people have had with the show for quite a long time is the fact that we are constantly told about discrimination against the faunus, but we're very rarely shown real instances of discrimination against the faunus. And I said, as soon as we get into Atlas, as soon as we get to Mantle, I think that is going to change. And episode 1... that changed.
Well, you see not only the situation with Blake, but you see the faunus coming back on the truck. You can assume from the Shanita's company minds, and there's all these faunus looking dirty, grubby, and sad coming back. Blake and everyone else kind of like, oh man, this is rough. Like, I want to get out of here.
The bar also that the guys stumble out of has a no faunus sign on it.
Yeah.
But then another thing, kind of backtracking a little bit because we didn't touch on it, was how right off the bat, Crow's like, no, we can't trust Ironwood. And then even Weiss is like, oh, hang on, wait, okay, well, maybe we can trust Winter. And everyone's kind of like, And she gets kind of defensive.
Yeah.
And then you can even see the hesitation with her as well.
Yeah.
So how quickly they were to almost turn on their own friends and be like, oh, no.
Their own family.
Yeah, their own friends, their own family. And how quickly it is this, I feel like there's been this tightness. And now there's all this, you don't know who you can trust, which is obviously an Ironwood statement.
I think... on the topic of Mantle, right? We knew this to be the case, but this is the first time that we're really getting to see it. Yeah, Atlas and Mantle are both under martial law.
Mm-hmm.
You've got military personnel all over the streets. You've got propaganda being broadcast on giant billboards of, it's Ironwood speaking to the public, it's Winter speaking to the public. And on that note, Bo, how hard did you scream when you saw Winter?
Oh, God.
You should see, there's a screenshot, because we did a reaction together of Bo's face. And
I was just like,
and I was like,
I'm pretty sure that the exact noise I went was, I want to say that about a month ago, I was messaging Barker and just kind of thanking him for the work that he does on the show, and just thanking the show in general for being such an influence in my life, being hella gay and whatnot. And I was like, Barker, he was like, oh, are you excited for Volume 7? And I was like, Barker, I'm going to be frank with you, and pardon my language, but I'm going to bust a nut when Volume 7 comes out. And he was just like, that's a quote for the books. And, I've been sending around the gif of the nut button, because that's just the most accurate representation that I could think of.
True.
I wanted to cry. Like, she looks so good. I love that they, like, gave her more detail in her hair. Like, her bangs aren't just this weird, like, teardrop thing anymore.
Yeah.
Like, she actually has, like, she looks, on the billboards, she looks really, really brainwashed, which has me really heckin' concerned.
It looks, I mean, they made the comment that like Ironwood looks tired, and like I kind of feel like that's the same for Winter too. She just looks like she's just been going 100%
tired though.
100% for a really long time. Like, well, I mean, like she looks. Maybe tired's not the right word, but just like
It looks like she's disconnected and dissociated.
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah. It's just like it just kind of felt like she's like, yep, this is the job.
Well, honestly, maybe this is a strong comparison or whatnot, but it was very, very Nazi feeling, and I was like, you know,
I called Katie last night, and I was like, Katie, have you seen the new episode? And she was like, no, and I was like, okay, we're gonna watch it. And so we watched it alongside each other. And I can't remember what she was saying. She was like, oh yeah, so-and-so's off doing something. I was like, man, I can't believe Winter's off just being a fucking Nazi right now. Like, it's not wrong, though, which is the worst part. I was like, oh god, this is my worst fears come to realize, because, like, I'm really hoping that she comes around.
I mean, I think she will, just based off the opening. But we'll talk about the opening later.
But also, Brian, your microphone is like covering your face straight up.
Well, look, guys, I don't want you.
He's like Mike Wazowski right now.
Look, Brian's face wasn't much to look at in the first place.
Yeah.
Covering it is actually an improvement.
What was that?
What was that?
Oh wait, I can't.
They were making fun of you.
Oh, well, look.
I can't hear them.
Naturally.
Did I hang up in the call? See, look, this is what happens. What happens when we can't hear the voices in the sky.
Yeah, we always need to communicate with our gods. It's important.
Our overlords.
So one thing I noticed that this
Wow,
is really
the
small,
entire chat heard that comment.
like detail, is that when Crow first voices his opinions about Ironwood in Volume 3.
Mm-hmm.
He hates everything about Ironwood. He betrayed Osmond. It's all this.
Yeah.
I did notice in this that Crow seemed to be concerned about Ironwood. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, who wouldn't be that poor guy? But like, it's interesting that even Crow feels like concern for what's going on, and he has concern for Ironwood. So I'm curious if that's going to, if there's some development that could happen between Ironwood and Crow.
Yeah, I think I definitely think that there's something there. I mean, like, I'm gonna hold off on the speculation regarding what we saw in the opening until later on.
Sure.
But yeah, it definitely seems like there's gonna be some people at odds with Ironwood. Now, actually, I mean, well, first of all, I want to talk to our gods. Up in the great beyond in the sky.
Yes, we have heard your
by that, I mean the hotel room above us.
Hi, God.
So, like, do you guys have any other thoughts regarding Mantle, Ironwood, any of this stuff before we move on?
When we get to the
Well, peasants, in regards to the latest episode, personally, I think that it seems as if that while they will be at odds to a certain degree with Ironwood, in my opinion, they are going to suck it up and work together with him, probably on his terms, to a certain degree, is how I'm thinking about it.
Forrest?
Alright, just stray thoughts. I like that. Is it like official now? We know Atlas is the floating city, Mantle is the city below it. Is that
Yes.
Okay.
And they're all a part of Solitas.
Gosh. Okay. Solitas is a con, right? Okay.
Well, that used to be the kingdom.
Oh.
And Atlas was the school, and then Atlas became a
Didn't
real
you say it
power.
was the mantle of the world? It was like the.
Oh.
So Mantle is what?
I feel like this whole couch just.
Yeah. Anyways, let's let Forrest finish his
Sorry,
thought.
Forrest. Go ahead.
So yeah, just stray thoughts. I like the design of the city. It's very dystopian. They got like robots patrolling everywhere. They got big billboards. They have heat lamps on all of the like by the windows of buildings to like I guess heat the city because it's freaking cold up here in the north. I guess.
Yeah.
That was a cool little detail. You got coal miners. You got I'm calling it now that graffiti that says "Show your teeth" with like a grinning skull looking face. That's like Faunus Revolution stuff, and that's going to come up later because they feature that too prominently for it not to be relevant.
Speaking of things that they feature very prominently, Protect Mantle. Yeah.
What's her name?
Her name is Robin Hill.
Robin Hill.
Yeah.
If you zoom in on the ad that's on, you can see her name that she is a political representative for the council who is going against Watts, and you could read that in the text if you zoom in.
Oh, interesting.
So
I mean, like, I saw the thing that said, like, election imminent and whatnot, so she's
going
definitely running
against
for something.
It's a local mantle, like, hero or something, versus Atlesian Tycoon is what the actual title is of the article.
Oh,
but then if you watch the spot with Watts, you can see a political map.
It's in the intro later, but it implies that Watts has something to do with the election somehow from the opening.
Yeah.
Which we can cover.
Was Watts also a previous council member?
We don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
We do know that he is in cahoots with Salem, though, and that is bad news for everybody.
He is? What? When was
What?
that
What
established?
was...
Wait, what?
Watts is bad?
What?
I'm pretty sure everyone with a mustache in this show is good.
What are you talking about?
Oh my god.
So
Get out!
So moving to the part that I'm really just, I want to get there. So we have all this revolution stuff going on. You're seeing all this subliminal messaging happening in the background, the no fauna signs. But then you get to this faunist walking out of the shop that Maria's taking them to, so she can get her eyes repaired by this lovely, amazing, technical, savvy...
That faunist...
Like Cammy.
Yeah, no, that faunist walking out of the shop, their dishwasher 1910 highlighted that particular faunist and was like, that is background waifu right there. Because the design is so, like, he just liked the design so much.
But the thing that I loved is that, is it Pietro? Is that
Pietro.
Pietro, yeah.
Is
AKA not Geppetto.
Oh yeah, Pietro is our good old allusion to Geppetto. Of course, you know, you can see very quick. Okay, why is he Geppetto? You see some whale hanging on the back shelf.
Monstro.
Oh yeah, good old Monstro back there. But you know, I really love. I just really want to get to the point that I want to talk about. So I'm like, let's get there.
We're gonna go.
Well,
we're getting there.
I want to talk about my new OTP that I didn't know I was gonna ship is Maria X Pets Pietro. Like, that was cute. I was like, oh, Maria's got herself some boys waiting for her in Atlas.
So
can we talk about the fact that, like, Yang just, like, punches this robot that took a picture of her, and then gets run over by a truck.
That is beautiful.
It's just gorgeous. I love it.
It was
Just another reminder that Yang still needs to learn some anger control.
It was honestly nice to kind of see her have that little outburst again. Like, it felt kind of more like how Yang used to be before she got in her, like, yanks.
Yeah.
But, you know, it also still feels like a symptom of that PTSD where she's like, oh god, startled, instant responses to punch it. That, I feel like that's such a Yang response, but at the same time, it's startled her, and she's like,
yeah. It's just kind of like, I'm sorry, I did not consent to this picture. Like,
She's like, it's 10 lien for a picture, goddammit.
join my Patreon, damn it.
Like, what do you want to bet that we're going to see, like, the moment before she punches the robot as a picture in another episode?
So
footage.
I was very much in that scene when they're in the room with Pietro, like, just in super suspense, because me and Bo leading up have been paying attention to every little thing that's been coming out. So they released images during, was it New York Comic Con? They released a series of images.
It was on Variety.
One of them was this gentleman looking over his desk at Maria, which was Pietro looking over the desk. And you could see the image, and it's like, welcome back, and it was just his picture. And Bo's like, you know who that is, right? And I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. Because if you remember in Volume 3, after Penny dies, you see this flash of the back of this Atlesian scientist, white hair, bald on the top. You're like, okay, I'm only seeing him from the back, but, like, chances are it's the same person.
Yeah.
Ended up being the same person. So, of course, I was already like, oh my god. So then you get into the shop, and there's similarities, these things that after we watched a couple times we picked up on, like his bow or a monster in the background. Bo pointed out the sign Days Since Nonsense.
Days Since Nonsense 0, which is an Office reference.
But seeing, obviously, the similarities between his chair and whatnot, I knew who this guy was as soon as we saw him. So I was like, oh my god.
So I'm a new, like, casual RWBY fan. I just only very recently got into the RWBY fandom. So I marathoned, like, volumes 2 through 6 with Brian very recently. So this is all very new to me.
And me for 6. Well,
I'm coming into the fandom. So Brian and I were watching, and he had all the same, like, reactions you did. So he totally knew who this guy was. So, like, I'm watching, I'm like, oh, this nice science guy. And then Brian's just like, Penny's dad! And I was just like, where did you get that from?
So,
where did you pull that theory?
I was so confused.
The thing that's beautiful about it is that you can watch this casually or you can watch this hardcore, like, you know, some of us do. But the thing that I really loved is there's a line where Maria's like, oh, well, you're impatient, aren't you? And I'm like, I literally responded when we were doing the art. I was like, yes, I am. I need to know. Like, it was almost like Maria was talking to the audience in that sense, or at least what it felt like to me, because she was like, knew my impatience, was calling out those hardcore fans, and I was like, shit. She got
I mean,
me.
to be fair,
I have a
really hate
new.
having my patience tested.
I also want to point out I have a new favorite, or not. It's one of my favorite Maria lines. I think my favorite Maria line is still "That's the sound of me not caring," but I loved her, like, they're just getting hassled by air traffic control, and Maria's just like, "Geez, lady, take a hint."
I love everything Maria does. I love. I think.
Maria's a New York taxi driver. Hands
You're
down.
friends with Melissa.
Oh, so I'm friends. I'm kind of. I mean, we know each other in passing. Like, we're friends on Facebook. So.
I love Melissa. She's
So,
a bean.
she's amazing.
I've only talked to her through Facebook on occasion, but man, she's a bean.
So one thing that I want to say that I really liked, I like kind of how they tied everything together, is as we continue through the scene, you know, Maria and Pietro are talking to each other and whatnot, is, you know, Yang interjects, which I loved how they kind of had the characters, like, kind of leaning over each other and whatnot. It was really dynamic. It felt like these characters finally feel really comfortable with each other to me. And Pietro takes notice of Yang's arm, that she painted it. And so obviously he was the one that designed her arm.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a really cool kind of just bringing everything back together, kind of tying it back into, like, holy shit, like, not only is this guy probably Penny's dad, but it was Penny's dad that worked on Yang's arm.
The part that fucked me right up, like, not even, like, it is not even friendly. I can't even get over it, because I sat there, and he's like, oh, you're Team RWBY. And so RWBY, like, has him, like, what, you know about us? And he's like, yeah, my daughter told me all about you, like, so matter of fact. And I was like, he wasn't sad. Bo, he wasn't sad. He was matter of fact. That means, you know what that means. It's gotta mean something.
It was funny because it got to the next scene, like, which is the outside, you know, the fight with the Grimm. Right. And Tina and I were both like, okay, we've seen the scene at RTX, so let's talk about how the fact he said, my daughter's told me a lot about you. Like, we literally had our whole, like, discussion during that fight.
It was just so, I was like, okay, he wasn't sad. That doesn't make sense. Either that was terrible acting, or they're trying to say something here, and Rooster Teeth hasn't hit me for terrible acting, so, like, try again. So I was like, okay, logic would imply that there's something else here. So then we get focused back on the scene, and we're like, okay, you have this really cool dynamic fight, where you have the foreground really kicking butt and taking names, and the only thing I have complaints about is in the background, you see Crow at one point just with just shooting, and that's probably, like, my only complaint with the animation all the way through.
No. And so they left. So in regards to that fight scene, right? Because that same scene that they showed at RTX, they released as, like, a teaser a couple days before, and we both watched that, and you were theorizing as to, like, what was going to happen after the Grimm leapt at Blake.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, it's gonna be like the Atlas military coming in to save the day.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be Winter.
And then when we got into the episode, you were still sticking to that. And then, like, in the middle of that fight scene, I was like, it's Penny.
See,
it's gonna be Penny.
What I thought was that her hair, like, because of the new outfits, we're like, okay, her hair's gonna get cut. She has no way to defend herself. Mm-hmm. This thing's gonna leap at her. She'll barely dodge. This is where her hair gets, chopped. Maybe this is the change is happening whether she wants it or not, and maybe that's something. So I theorized that up and down, left and right. That was what I
was pretty set on that too.
I was like, that's what's gonna happen, right? And then as soon as I see the room, I was like you could see, you know how RWBY's face is, where it's like that when it's like, oh, say hi to your friends, Penny. And RWBY's face is just kind of like blank. Like, she doesn't know what to feel. It's almost like sad, but elated, but not at the same time.
I love that Penny had this, like, magical girl entrance.
Yeah.
She got her, like, shot in front of the moon like all the other girls did.
But so she has this moment where she sat there and she's just like, and then she's like, and you see this light on Penny's face, and RWBY's face lights up as well. And it's this slide up from expressionless to this, like, oh my god. This is my Penny, and that's exactly how I felt when I saw that first screen laser. You can see it in the video. I was like, my god. I took screenshots of that whole particular moment, and I was like, Man, I'm feeling you, RWBY, right now. I'm feeling
So one of my predictions going into the volume was that that Penny was gonna be a prototype, and that they were gonna be like mass producing these like discount pennies. And so I thought that
How can you get more discounts?
So I thought RWBY was going to have to like suffer through like seeing her friend all over,
but be empty, like
but being empty, and not recognize her. And I was just, and then so when it was revealed that no, this is your Penny, I'm like, you know what? RWBY, you deserve that.
So
You've been fighting so long.
The thing that really got me is I theorized, okay, when we started seeing the pictures of Penny's father, I was like, oh my god, what if they bring Penny back? Oh, they're gonna pull what they did last season. They're gonna stab us in the heart, turn the knife, and like make it hurt.
Maybe oh my god, Cole, you are noticed. Shut up.
There's closure a little bit with Kira that we get, but then I was like, oh my god, they're gonna dig up Penny's grave in a sense. They're going to Atlas. What better place to dig it up at? And then you have this moment where I was like, there's no way she's going to ever have Penny that she knew back. And I think it's nice about, you pointed it out, that they get to have this nice, wholesome, happy moment. It's been dark. It's been trialsome. There have been
like lighthearted moments.
Yeah, but
there hasn't been anything that was like genuine joy.
Like wholesome.
Like the last, I think I can honestly say the last like really wholesome, not necessarily joyous scene was the reunion in Volume 5 when it was like Team Ranger and then Weiss and Yang that had come back and they were having like the dinner and everything. But even then that wasn't anything close to, like, this was kind of one of those, it was like, man, we've been beat down. Like, what more can they take from us? And it kind of felt like a small victory.
Yeah.
Of like, and one thing that I'm going to stand by this feeling is, in a way, I feel that it clears Pyrrha's name and that she can kind of finally be at rest because she didn't kill her. Like, I mean, she did, but here's the thing is that...
I mean, like, no, she did fuck her up, but, like, she's fine.
But death for Penny is not as severe as it is for a human.
And they also point out that...
It's not as permanent.
They say, yeah, she did, if you want to say it, technically died. But they were able to salvage her.
Well, now, I want to point out, so it specifically said that they were able to salvage her core. Mm-hmm. So I think it seems like, because she was cut into... I mean, everybody, she was cut into quarters.
Right there. Yeah. They're all over the floor.
She was cut into quarters. But we don't know exactly where her core is. Maybe it's up in her brain. Like, her nothing about her head was damaged, right? So I think it is possible, like, that she could die permanently if her core gets, like, totally destroyed, right? Mm-hmm. But we just don't know where her core is. So like, there's definitely
could be like in her pinky toe, probably. but so that feeling that RWBY has, where it's again this moment of like not sure what to feel. There's no way, this is too good to be true, and then realizing that, oh my God, not only is Penny in front of me, but this is the Penny that I know and love. Mm-hmm. Holy crap. Like, you see RWBY, it's just like this wash of just this elation, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the most beautiful facial animation. The way that the little movements are, little dings, the stretch and squash aspects even too, when you have Penny winding up into her salutations, it creates this really beautiful fluid movement that it feels so wholesome and where it is. But to tie it all off with I can't wait to catch up with you. I'm going to have to wait to catch up with you.
It looks like we're going to have to wait.
I want to talk about, so like when I was watching it with Katie last night, of course, Katie is our Penny for our series, for the abridged. And
Katie-senpai-kun, we love you.
Katie-senpai-kun. But it got to, it was like the thing was, the Grimm were fighting and everything, and she was like, oh man, it looks so good. And then the first laser hits, and she just goes, Bo! And I'm just sitting there because I had to stay muted because my mic was picking up a lot of noise and whatnot. But and then like the other lasers start going, and she's just like, shut the fuck up, Bo! And then she just did like this inhuman scream when Penny she was just like, that's my baby girl.
So real talk. Nuts and Bolts is my
Yeah, that
absolute
moment was
favorite
pretty
ship.
sweet.
I have to say, I did not ship Nuts and
I
Bolts
will not
until
lie,
this
I did ship a
episode.
few tears.
I ship it so hard.
Nuts
You mean you
Bolts-
didn't ship the Firefly scene from
So,
Chibi?
Yeah, from Chibi, that's like how I shipped it.
So
Wait.
So really quick, like Nuts and Bolts has always been my favorite ship, but I kind of just like sadly buried that ship in the backyard, next to my hopes and dreams.
Next to Arcos.
Because obviously I was at this point where I was like, okay, it's not gonna happen, but I'm not saying that it can happen. I think it's. And we talked about this a little bit. I think Ruby is asexual as all get out. I don't think she is interested in sexual relations at all, which would make a robot significant other very awesome to me. Not saying that it would necessarily even make her gay, because Penny technically is genderless, but referred to as she because of how she
Penny
looks.
is
Right.
Penny.
Penny is Penny.
Yeah.
But I feel like that is the perfect match for.
I feel
Ruby.
like Penny identifies as female.
Yeah, I mean, but I think the thing is that Ruby is weapon sexual.
Especially in the abridged series.
Penny is all that. But I think I just want them to like vigorously hold hands and be cute as heck. That's the kind of relationship that I want for Ruby. But that's just me projecting. But all in all, I think Penny is like so important to Ruby. Loving Ruby's character, I was just like, my girl's got a friend back.
I mean, the thing about the Nuts and Bolts ship, like, I also like strongly, as someone who's also asexual, I strongly love the idea of Ruby being ace, just because it's always been really kind of hard and also a little bit dicey shipping her with anyone. Like, White Rose is adorable, of course. Ladybug is cute in its own way, but like, it's always just been really interesting for me. And when the Ruby Penny dynamic kind of started showing up, and they actually had some really cute moments, and it was really kind of the first character outside of her team that Ruby kind of really latched onto and was like, this is my friend, like, this is someone that I love, obviously, to whatever degree you want to interpret that. Is that Nuts and Bolts, like, realistically, I mean, even with, Penny being like, dink, 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 like, she's got a metal body, like, no offense to her, but she ain't having sex with that body. So, like, what better partner for her to have than someone who
isn't driven that way.
wouldn't, be driven by sex or need it. And I think that it would be really beautiful, because if she were to be with someone or fall in love with someone that had that interest, like, how kind of horrible would Penny feel that she wouldn't be able to love that person like that? But if she has someone that doesn't need that, I think that that's, like, really the perfect, like, opposites kind of thing for them.
Yeah.
That's why well, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Okay, but like, with Ruby getting this happiness back, I can't help but have this sense of dread that they are going to be cruel and yank it away from me. So there are like some theories on like what could happen with Penny, but they made a point to emphasize that the core is what's important. It's what powers her. It's what keeps her going. So what happens if something else needs the core? Like, I don't know, the thing holding up Atlas? That would be crazy, right?
That was me.
I know.
That.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You came up with that idea, but it's just like, what would happen? Because I think we're going to have lost this season. I think we're going to lose someone. I don't know who, but I just have this nagging feeling. Someone that is important to what's been going on, we're going to lose. Will that be Penny? Will that be someone else? Will that be anyone? I don't know, but
I mean,
I have some ideas.
With Penny, they could definitely pull the whole, like, they could re-kill her off, but essentially it was they finally got to have, like, their proper goodbyes. Like, they got to finally spend the time with each other and have those extra moments.
I don't want to talk about this. This is depressing.
I don't want. Okay,
I still think it's gonna be Maria. I think Neo's gonna kill Maria.
I really hope Maria doesn't die because I love her and she's old lady goals.
I don't want Maria to die. Maybe she'll come back as an annoying Force ghost.
She'll just come back. I'm not dead yet.
I wanna. We're kind of plowing through here, so I wanna get our voices of the gods in here to talk about their thoughts on this fight and Penny and all that stuff.
God, are you there?
Uh-oh.
Did we lose God?
God?
God? God? Have you abandoned us?
God, why?
Quick, get the relics together!
Why? Shaking me.
Oh, what?
It takes a minute for us to catch up with you. I have to listen to the stream to hear what's going on.
Oh, wait, what? Well, you should have said something. I can do something about that.
Womp womp.
We're having
See.
some
Can we talk
technical
about when like
difficulties.
Penny
We
and
have!
Ruby, her eyes
Look
like
at the
lit up and
friggin'
there's two
thing!
animations
Look at the
flashing
chance that
in
we
her
don't
eyes,
make
so
all
it's,
your
like,
phones
spooky.
buzz at the same
And
time.
her eyes like
The VFX were brilliant.
I love it.
Let's see.
I'm gonna let them do the thing. But should we just sit here and talk about something else?
Well, here, hang on.
Yeah, look at the home base server.
Well, we can't. We're not looking at the.
I should be.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
One moment. Thank you for your patience.
Well, you guys are figuring
You should be. Wait. I mean,
VFX.
what do you? Why are you
Let's
guys
talk
listening
about
to?
that.
Why are you guys listening to us over the stream? What are you doing? What's the problem?
Because
Can we
we
talk
have
about
to
how
be
there were two
barely able
effects
to
in the
hear you
opening?
through anything
but like,
else.
can we talk about that when
Like, we'll
Penny
get, like,
was...
small snippets.
Oh,
I'm,
when Penny
I'm
was
listening
saying...
through. I'm trying to listen through Discord, but I can't.
Okay.
It comes in so choppily, I can't understand.
Oh.
what's going on.
I see.
I guess we're gonna have to kill the ghost.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Ah.
Sorry about that.
I mean, we could have started typing in the chat, but we all know that when that happens, people's phones start buzzing over the mics, and that's just,
Bzz, bzz, bzz.
I mean, from now on,
Yeah.
just go ahead and go into the actual like live stream chat and just say audio because like we're looking at the live
Yeah.
stream chat. So like,
that's
Yeah.
fair enough, actually.
Tell us your thoughts.
Yes.
you can't spell KRWBY Productions without technical difficulties.
I mean,
It's funny
something
'cause
had to
it's
go
true.
wrong, otherwise the stream wouldn't be the same.
Our intro worked out pretty well. Something else had.
But I'm not even sure what the question was because of...
The question was like, what are, like, we've been talking for a while. What are your guys' thoughts on like this fight scene, the Penny coming back, like we give us your godly wisdom.
I will give you my godly wisdom. Give me more!
That's the wisdom.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted the new outfit
Motto
already.
hayaku.
Well, they've already said that the outfits are kind of like a building up to that it's gonna happen. And I actually have a theory about when the outfits come into play.
I'm sure you do, but I want to hear them talk.
I know. I'm just saying, like.
Bo, let me get you a glass... Oh, wait, I'm not there to get you a glass of water, so sit down! Wait, you are sitting down. I'm just gonna talk now. But I like Weiss's new outfit too much for me to not want her to have it now. Like, just give it to her. She's grown out her
We're
hair.
not talking about Weiss. We're talking about Penny. We're...
Yeah, well, I'm getting there. Okay? Penny is just... I know we have red sexual as a thing already, but can we just be penny sexual now, too? Is that just a thing?
Look at those beautiful pennies on
I
the
just
ground.
want to hold her hand.
No, they
No,
need to be
throw the
thrown.
coins on the ground
Earlier in the stream.
Oh, I missed that.
You like
Yeah.
with the camera.
I said, "Here's my pennies. They're not quarters anymore."
Oh.
I know. At 3/4.
Anyway, with all that's going on, I really want to see more of the world. Just do more of that episode through the rest of the season. Like, that much care into the fight scenes and into the world around you, especially the fight scenes, because I'm the guy who likes the action the most. Just do that, and I'll be happy. 5
There was a
stars.
lot of world building in this episode.
There was, yeah. Forrest?
There was a lot of world building, but I like my action too.
I like the world building. I want more of it. I want to see more of this Atlas mantle disparity. I want to see more of the revolution leader who's on all the posters. What's her deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Robin Hill.
is she a Faunus revolution leader, or is this like, you know, are not Faunus people allowed to? And who knows? Is this like White Thing 2.0? We don't know.
I mean, we do
So
that.
it'd be interesting to see how they develop that plot thing and how the Atlas military, I presume, is going to come into conflict with them. Have we gotten to the team at the end of the fight scene? Can we talk about that?
Man, that whole fight scene.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. What was your question, Forrest?
Have we talked about? Because I don't know what's been talked about already, but have we talked about the team, the Atlas military team at the end?
No, we
we
haven't
haven't
talked about that.
that.
Now, before we get into that, I have a critique that I need to voice about the fight.
Right, let's talk about the fight.
So, there were a lot of really cool individual moves, and I feel like I feel like they did this on purpose because I know that they can do it. They did it in Volume 6. But they, like, one of the things that the show has always been, or that one of the things that Monty really brought to the show was just this kind of, like, non-stop balls-to-the-wall action kind of stuff. And after Monty passed, one of the main things that people complained about a lot was that, like, the action just kind of, like, stop and start. You know, like, you have a really cool moment here, and then, you know, some kind of cinematic beat to get us to the next cool moment, whereas Monty was just like cool moment, cool moment, cool moment, cool moment, all, you know, in one go. And this felt like it went back to the cool moment, cinematic moment, cool moment, cinematic moment. You know, it didn't feel like typical RWBY action to me. So I would like to see you return back to that original, like, RWBY action, but I feel like this particular fight, it wasn't as important. It was really just to highlight Penny's entrance, so I feel like they didn't put as much into it in terms of, like, really trying to make it like, we're going to make this one of the really, really cool RWBY fights. Like, it was just kind of like, we need to get Penny in here.
See, I would almost disagree.
Okay.
Because I think that, yes, it was stop and go. It was very cinematic for a reason. It was meant to show these characters specifically in a snapshot of, okay, here, we're focusing on you. This focus of highlight and movement and how they act. Specifically, you see it with RWBY's actions, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And who was else? I feel like it really shows some cool stuff between, like, Weiss and Ren. But it was very stop and go. I think there was a big highlight on RWBY. And how her semblance is even changing, because you see the cloth splits apart, which is new. It's never done that before.
Yes, it has.
Has it?
It did against the Baron Girl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, because it's been a while since we've seen it change too much. But
Given
I
that
felt
was
like
Volume 4 short, so it's been, what?
Yeah.
We're on 4 seasons now.
I feel like she's been doing some really cool stuff though, and just her fight moves were very dynamic, and I really like that focus, and then snapshotting to these other parts. But it felt very easy to follow and not all crammed in one mess, where you're trying to figure out who's doing what's going on, and what they want you to focus on. They gave you a very clear focal point, and made it, I feel like, easier to follow for maybe some people who aren't paying attention to little Nora over here in the corner is really doing something hardcore, fighting this, or Weiss is doing that. It gave you very clear focal points on the characters.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from, but for this fight, I think it was okay. Because this is like if you're one of those heathens who's starting Volume 7 and never watched a season of RWBY ever, and this is like your reintroduction, or if you're coming back and you just want, like, here's just a brief reintroduction of Team RWBY and what they're all about and their supporting cast, this was the way to do it. I definitely wouldn't want this to be like the whole thing, but they also made it so they were in, like, the midst of, like, a plaza where a bunch of streets converged, which made it very convenient for them to cut from, you know, alley to alley, where each character was doing their own thing to protect their perimeter. So it was understandable that it felt stop and go. But I do have to agree with Brian, though, that coming back to the original sort of element, or as close as they can make it, would be my personal preference, because Monty's fights, especially those from Volume 3, are still the ones I hold near and dear to my heart. I will never get.
Well, I mean, he had
animation,
like, he had animations that were used, but Monty passed before.
Well, but
Volume 3.
he had animated, like,
he had animated pieces. He hadn't animated full fights.
I mean, in the Volume 3 commentary, they said that he had worked on Volume 3, like, up until he died. And that
he had animated. That's
like,
what I'm saying. You know, he did. He was in pre-production. He had animated pieces, and those did make it into the fights. But he didn't animate full fights like he had for Volumes 1 and 2.
Well, I know there were specific fights that he had done entirely himself, but probably not the entire season. My thing that I still kind of find a little bit funny is just ever since the Adam fight, poor Blake has just been on the back burner, because it's like, oh yeah, cool, I've got my robot arm, my gauntlet, I've got Crescent Rose, I've got my glyphs, I've got my sword, and Blake's just like, I've got a gun.
Yeah. Like, she pulls out her sword, just, oh right.
And then she just, like, switches it to the gun mode, and then she's not seen at all for the rest of the scene until, pew, she shoots one shot that matters. And it's just like, what are you going to do, Blake? This bitch is jumping at you now. How are you going to fight?
So, when I watched this fight scene, it felt like every single character moment that you said was, like, animated by someone who wasn't talking to, like, it sounded like whoever was doing Weiss and Ren wasn't talking to Yang and Blake. Or, like, I'm sure they were. But, like, the way it felt laid out to me, it's just all like, RWBY does this cool, spinny, like, ground pound thing that was really amazing, and then it's just like, and then Weiss is setting up. And then she's, like, doing this, and it goes from fast to slow, which I think is that stop-and-go thing you were talking about. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it felt like very different fighting styles and different fighting animation.
Well, I mean, I think the different fighting styles is fine because obviously you want to highlight that between the different characters. I think what we're talking about is different pacing for the characters with for each of their sections.
Yeah, so like I thought Weiss's bit when we go to Weiss and she's like, haha, I've got an idea. I'm gonna plan this out. I'm like, we just got done with RWBY doing this badass like spin cycle. Can you hurry it up? We were in a really cool pace. So
it's like try to live up to that. You will. I wanna. So someone, Sugar Rush in chat said, I'm curious what Blake's next weapon will be. Is actually, if you watch the trailer that they released from New York City Comic Con, we actually see that she still has Gamble Shroud, and Gamble Shroud is fixed completely. It's just her sword, the blade for it, has been re-welded or reattached somehow. Back onto its old bit, so it's still very much Gamble Shroud. She's not going to be getting a new weapon.
Well, the cool thing about it is that it's got that golden gild, and that is something that samurais would do with their weapons. And when they would break, they wouldn't just get a new weapon; they'd repair them. And it was this mark of battle that they'd repair them, and that that mark would be prominent. It shows that it's this worn battled armor or battled weapon, and it was almost like a signifying of this big thing in a sense. So you don't throw away the weapon, you fix it. So something's not broken, it's just new in a different way.
They really seem to be piling on like the Japanese culture with Blake, because like I guarantee you that like Blake getting her haircut is like gonna be a case of like moving on, like changing new life. Which is a very Japanese kind of thing to get your hair cut after.
What if in reality she was just trying to like do her hair and her fingers slipped? And she just like took a piece off and she's like, "Well, I'm committed now," and there's no reasoning behind it whatsoever.
I think that's gonna be more like John's haircut.
They're gonna be getting haircut and somebody's just gonna like
totally mess up
I can
picture
John walking out. And he's got Ren and Nora right there, and he's just like, "So, what do you guys think?" And Ren's like, and Nora's like, "You hesitated."
Okay, but like, moving past that fight,
what was that you have?
Oh.
I think the proper response would have been, "Carden, is that you?"
But moving past that fight, they quickly right after, Crow's like, "Oh, I thought that was going to go a whole lot worse." And he had to speak, because sure enough it did. And you have the Aesops, or if you say it together really fast, the Aesops fables that Bo pointed out.
Aesop's fables.
Yep.
I spent way too much time on Wikipedia trying to figure out which one.
That is a thing.
I can't.
Oh, we know from the credits that the one that speaking with Crow's name's Clover.
Clover Ebi?
But he is literally the opposite of Crow in the sake that he has a horseshoe, lucky rabbit's foot, and a four-leaf clover on his palm. So he's all about the luck.
So either his semblance is something that perfectly counteracts Crow, or he was specifically sent there by Ironwood because Ironwood knows what Crow's semblance is and was like, "Here is all the luckiest shit we can give you. Good luck, my dude." Like,
that's fair.
Maybe say a prayer before you go in too. You need all the luck you can get.
Yeah. So the other thing, before we move too far away from the fight, I just want to point out, Oscar's poke game was like on point.
I'm so proud of my baby. He can fight without Oz on his side.
He just poked that Grim in the head, and it was great.
And he did a flip while doing it.
Yep.
I'm so proud of my boy.
So as far as world building stuff is concerned, Penny is the official protector of Mantle.
What do you think that means?
That's my wife.
I think that's what it means.
I mean, my wife's working hard to put food on the table for the kids back home.
Well, I mean, like, so the main gang gets arrested because they aren't licensed wielders in the city. So what do you think Penny, what does Penny mean by she's the protector of the city? Is she
I think she protects the city.
I think she's like vigilante.
I don't think she's a vigilante.
I mean, they could try to stop her.
Well, I don't think that she's unauthorized. Otherwise, they would have probably said a more elite squad after Penny, because it's probably possible with Atlas level tech.
They were like, "You died. Here's your license."
I feel like they would have gone after Pietro because they know who Penny is. They know who Penny is associated with.
Well, and
now I would
we
like to
Penny,
just to
though.
point out the Aesops. You know, they come in and they take down all of our team, and they're real assholes about it. And I would like to coin the term here and now, Atlas holes.
Get out.
Or, even
okay.
better, you can call them ace holes.
Oh no! Artia, are you still here?
Man, so I have to ask, like, okay, is it because they had their good luck charm on their side? Like, how did they take down Team Ruby and Team Juniper so quickly?
You know, there was this
Golden
interesting
Apple
moment where like everything went white. I feel like there was a semblance at play there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was.
I thought it might have been Crow's semblance at play.
See, I feel like Ren detected it too. Like they make a point to show him looking. Ruby's foot steps down, and then Ren's, like you see his eyes shifts to turn around, and just as quick as he does, they're all hit with these bolas, and they hit the ground. So
or do you think that was the luck semblance and the bad luck semblance counteracting each other?
I think whatever
Or
was
they were just normal people.
I really think whatever was Ren thought something about it, and that's why he has this moment where he's like, oh, and he's just not quick enough.
What was that, Ian?
I think it might have been Crow's bad luck semblance is indiscriminate. I think it may have been a combination of exceptional good luck for Aesops and exceptional bad luck for Ruby happening at the same time.
So it was both their semblance combining to make it happen.
Ultimate fuck
Yes.
you
Yes.
to our heroes.
Basically.
But in addition to that, though, they make a point to show Ren, and he's like detecting it.
I feel like there was a semblance at play there.
I don't necessarily think that it might have been anything specific, like having to do with Ren. I think it was just, okay, we need to show that the characters are maybe sensing that something is wrong, and we don't have enough time to show all, like, 10 of the characters, and so they just were like, okay, well, Ruby makes sense because main character, and then they were probably just, like, someone else. I honestly feel like we might be looking a little too much into who they showed specifically.
To add to that, though, Ren's telling us obviously he can mask people's emotions and whatnot. What's to not say that part of that evolution is being able to detect some things?
I mean, he also is a ninja, so, like...
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah,
man.
it is
His
kind of
ninja
a
skills,
requirement.
His passive perception is probably, like, +6.
I love Ren.
I would say he probably has expertise, Mo.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get to see. I really feel like there was something more with that very distinct scene change with the color out.
Yeah.
It felt too like they were trying to say something.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was just as simple as like, it happened.
Yeah.
I think there's something that we just don't know yet, and maybe we'll understand a little more later in the show. Maybe it was just nothing, and they wanted to be dramatic.
That's
Because
possible.
the animation was phenomenal to me, and the sake of delivery, the lighting, the actual animation, and how fluid it felt. Maybe they're just trying to pull from more, that anime feel.
Do we want to talk about the voice match for Crow?
Yeah, so that is something that I wanted to touch on, because last week we talked a little bit about, getting to hear him talk in the trailer and whatnot, Jason Liebricht. I was basically like, jury's still out for me because I don't feel like I can judge his Crow impression just based on a single line. We've heard a lot more of him now. So I have a few things to say about it. First of all, I think he sounds very different. I think he is very noticeably different from Vic Mignogna. I'm sure that there are a lot of people who are upset by that. But I also feel like I haven't yet had the opportunity to judge what Jason is capable of bringing to the table because we haven't really had a full-on Crow moment yet. He's kind of just had dialogue in passing. So I feel like as far as a voice match is concerned, I really like it's in the ballpark, but it's definitely very noticeably different. And you know, I am biased, but I personally feel like honestly, our Crow Cole does a much closer impression.
I hope you heard that, Cole.
Yeah, Cole, we love you.
That one was for you.
But as far as his acting is concerned,
we didn't get too much.
We didn't get too much, and like but here's what I will say. Anytime you have anytime you have an actor change, whether it's a legacy voice or something happens and an actor needs to get replaced for whatever reason, every actor brings something unique to a role. I don't think anyone is ever nobody's ever going to be able to do an exact replication of Vic Mignogna's Crow because only Vic can do Vic Mignogna's Crow, just like only Lindsay Jones can do Lindsay Jones's RWBY.
It's true.
So every single actor to step into the role has to bring something unique to it, something that is theirs, because otherwise, if they don't, it just feels like a cheap imitation. So what I will say is, well, I don't think that Jason Liebrecht is as close as maybe I would have initially hoped he was. I am still very, very interested to see what he brings, what new things he brings to the character that Vic didn't.
Right. And, you know, Jason never probably stated that he was going to be the next Vic Mignogna. Like, I doubt he ever... and we shouldn't hold him up to that. I think what you said is exactly right. He is going to bring his version of Crow, and I don't think we have enough time with Crow in this episode to, like, understand what that Crow is yet.
Yeah.
But I'm actually very excited to see, what he's going to bring and how we're going to develop this new Crow with him, and I'm very excited to see where that goes.
Admittedly, before, I was very skeptical. And one of the things that I was saying was, I don't know how I feel about it yet. When we first heard him in the trailer, I was like, I don't know. I haven't heard enough. So watching this episode, I hit this moment where I forgot. Like, I forgot that they changed. So I was like, okay, I forgot. And I didn't realize it till Bo had said something along the lines about Jason. And I was like, okay, like, he's good. He passed in my book. Because just as quick as I was, like, hesitant about it, his performance, I feel like, fit into where it felt like it belonged. I think Crow is not the same, but he's new and different in a good way. I think Crow has, and it wasn't until I had a conversation earlier on Twitter that made me think about it. Crow has changed from where he was in last season to where he was even now, and he changed through the season. And his world got rocked by his struggles with addiction, and his niece, who he valued dearly, called him out on it in a sense, and essentially, without saying it in so many words, expressed how disappointed she was in him. And I really think that had an effect on him. And if you pay attention, you can see that even while Vic was still Crow, the character starts to change a little. Like, if you're really looking at Crow's character, how he's delivering things, how he's saying things, his struggles, they start changing. He starts kind of coming back to reality out of that haze from this stupor. And I really feel like we're getting to the point where we're getting what sober Crow is like. This is sober Crow.
Jason is sober Crow.
And it's I feel like a better Crow. And just as Blake gets her hair cut, as we see from the new outfits, you have in the trailer or in the intro, you can see Crow has a new outfit. And I like this change. I like this difference. Jason is not Vic. Vic is not Jason. However, they both have shared this role now of voicing Crow. It's not the first time a character has been replaced in the show, regardless of the circumstances. I think that no matter what it is, this is what it is now. And I'm excited to see the performance that he has to bring to the table, because he's a phenomenal voice actor.
Yeah,
he's got
absolutely.
many amazing credits under his belt. And I'm just really excited to see where that goes, because Crow is somebody who is a very unique voice. And I just don't want that character to feel like his essence lost. But his character is also evolving, I feel.
Yeah.
So I want to see that evolution. I want to see what Jason brings to him. I want to see the direction the writers take with him. Because I really feel like we're getting that story we've been wanting for so long. We started getting really good story last season. And I feel like it's just the beginning of a season that's gonna rock our worlds. So
yeah, I think I personally am less concerned with him sounding exactly like Crow, and more concerned with him feeling exactly like
that's
Crow.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And I personally, you know, like Crow, like, I mean, my main OTP is obviously Snowbird. Like, anyone who knows me knows that Crow in Winter is my ultimate OTP. And Crow was not originally one of my favorite characters, but I've really grown to love him, regardless of, you know, out of character, you know, voice actor related things. Like, I really love Crow as a character. He's a very interesting character. I really appreciate, you know, his struggle, you know, with his addiction, with his like depression, obviously. And I really just want my boy to be done properly. And as someone who has loved the character as long as I have, I personally really love Jason. Like, I really enjoyed what I heard as him. There was a moment where it was right after they got captured, and he had like the "Hey pal," like he had like kind of one of those like little snarky comments as Crow, and I just kind of had this like little subconscious thing of just like, see, this feels like Crow, like it feels like the Crow that I love, and yeah, I'm pleasantly pleased with what I've heard so far. I'm really excited to see, like, you know, everyone here has said so far, like, I'm really excited to see what he brings to the table, and I'm really excited to see where Crow goes this volume.
Yeah.
Can I just say that one of the most important aspects to RWBY to me as a storytelling aspect is that RWBY follows a lot of anime tropes, you know, it's trying to be like an anime. And in a lot of anime, you know, kids are going to be the main characters. And then there's always, like, the mysterious grown-ups who have all the answers that they always hide and then they reveal when the time is right. And RWBY completely fell into that trope for the longest time. You know, we had Ozpin, we had Crow, they were always just the cool adults that knew everything and were probably going to come in and save the day by the end of the thing. But then they flipped it on its head, and it's just all like, no, the adults don't know everything. Mm-hmm. And I think by doing that, it gives the adults, like, all of this new room to grow and become characters in their own rights. And that's, like, something I've never seen many stories do. And I really appreciate RWBY for that, because, like, it just, now Crow is a character, Ozpin is a character, Ozma is a character, and I really want to see not only where the main characters are going, but like the mysterious adults now too, because they're all characters in the story together now, and I really appreciate RWBY for that kind of storytelling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so and to kind of add on to what you were talking about, Bo, about you know, not caring as much about him sounding exactly like Crow and him feeling more like Crow. You know, I don't want to drag this out too much, but just to piggyback off of that, you know, so Annika and I have worked together on an English dub, an English fan dub of an anime called Macross Delta. We did the first episode, and one of the things that we spent the most time doing, I would say, was casting. Mm-hmm. We spent a long time casting these characters because obviously when you're casting an anime, there are already original Japanese actors. And it's basically impossible to get anybody who sounds exactly like the Japanese counterpart because just the nature of the languages sound different. So you're already dealing with a situation where there are already voice actors who are in these roles, who own these roles, right? And, you know, we would do our best to get voices as, you know, in the ballpark as we could, but there was one character in particular, Mirage, where we actually made a conscious choice to stray a little bit further from the original Japanese voice, and that was because we had an actor come in and audition that it wasn't the same Mirage, it wasn't the same kind of character that we knew in Japanese, but what she did with the character was so interesting and so engaging that we were like, no, that's our Mirage. Like, and yes, that might get us in trouble, but with fans who like the Japanese Mirage. But ultimately, what matters to us the most is that the person who comes in and plays the character owns it and does something with the character that only they can do.
To summarize, basically, there's going to be a lot of people who have to come in and are expected to voice match, and a lot of times they're going to get a lot of hate, and like that's not their fault.
Yeah.
That they are there to voice match something, and sometimes they're going to not, meet the expectations of everyone, and I don't think that's the actor's fault. I think that's a fault in expectations. And in the end, I think we should just really be, a supportive community. And, like, even if we don't agree with it, we should always try to back our fellow voice actors and fellow entertainers.
I agree. And honestly, just to point out, too, there's been a lot of negativity online from various people. And it's just a shame to see people so hell-bent on tearing someone down that they don't even know. Some of us have had the pleasure of talking with Jason before. He's a phenomenal guy. He's super nice. I've never met him in person. I've talked to him over DMs on Twitter. But he's just a pleasant dude, and I'm really excited that he's Crow. He seems like a really nice dude. People I know have talked really highly of him, and I'm excited to see his performance. So, but holding that against the actor because he was cast, or because even maybe the writers or whatnot might have wanted him to take a different direction even with it, to create this newer version of the character. That's not, just because it's not what you remember doesn't mean it's fair to hold it against him.
Just because it's not what you were expecting or what you remember doesn't mean it's bad.
Let's come together as a community and just spread positivity instead of just negativity.
Yeah, I think that one thing that the RWBY community specifically struggles with a lot, and I even struggle with it, and I'm trying to cope with the fact that there's a really good chance Snowbird isn't going to happen, and that's really hard for me to cope with. And I think the thing that this community struggles with is during these long hiatuses between things, given we do now have a lot of information to go off of that's canon information, canon interactions and whatnot, how people feel about each other and everything, is that the fanon becomes so strong. People have such a set idea of what they're expecting from these characters that when they're not what they expected, they just refuse to acknowledge that they're wrong. And they refuse to acknowledge that the character might not be who they thought they were. And that's something that I'm kind of having to come to terms with because, like, from what little we know about Winter, I heavily identify with. But I'm also not a Nazi. And she's giving some Nazi vibes right now. So I'm kind of like, oh, shit. I think that people just need to be a little bit more receptive to accepting that fanon isn't canon.
Yeah.
I think just to add and piggyback on that is that one, again, just that fan theory, just because you like it and enjoy it doesn't mean it's going to be canon. So I think it's important to remember that we are all passengers on the RWBY bus. And Bo has used the analogy before about, everyone's on the bus, but not everyone can drive the bus. We're on it for the journey. You don't like it. You can get off at any stop you like.
Yep.
No one's forcing you to stay. So being critical to know that you're on the bus, you're not the driver. You're the passenger. You are just a rider on this journey with everyone else viewing it. So the other thing that I want to add as well is that doesn't mean you can't have criticisms on it or your thoughts and opinions, but constructive criticism is critical. It's saying that, oh, it sucked. I hate the new whatever because of this, that. I hate that. So, just, I don't know. Being constructive is important. If I said I didn't like the animation, this is why I didn't like it. Like, I didn't like it because Joe Schmo was on there. That's not a valid reason. Like, get out of town.
Or even worse, right? Like if I'm running,
I know something.
If I'm running live sound for a gig, one of the things that I hate the most, right, is you'll get somebody who comes up and goes, "Hey, I don't like the way it sounds," and you go, "Okay,
What does that mean?
Well, what do you not like about it? Like what?
Well, I just don't like it.
Well, okay, well, I just don't like it. So, great, that helps me a lot.
You help me so much.
Yeah.
But even more so, it's like if people it's like, hey, Brian, I know you're doing a live show. You don't have to listen to me, but I really didn't like this. I felt like I heard a lot of reverb.
Yeah.
And it gives you something to be like, okay, is this valid? So you can go back and assess, was there reverb?
Yeah.
And then you can listen and go, no, I didn't know what I was talking about.
And even if you know exactly what's wrong, going and being like, yeah, so I feel like this could use some work and that could use some work, and going like, man, this was shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with Rooster Teeth?
But,
like, why can't they just get this right? Like, that's, like, if you go and present, even if your arguments are valid, if you present them that way, nobody wants to listen to you.
But even more so, when coming into, like, say I was coming in and, again, talking about you doing audio, and you're like, I'm like, oh man, I don't like the audio because I feel like your EQs are off, and you're looking at me like, who the fuck are you to talk to me about this? And it's like me walking up to anyone in sound design at Rooster Teeth and saying whatever, or vice versa. It's not something I know. I can say I didn't quite like how this sounded. I'm not sure where to place it, but I feel like something was off, and that's not knowing is okay. But I hate when people try to feign this sort of knowledge of something that they don't have.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I could have animated better. It's like, let's be real. You don't know how to keyframe. Calm down. Get out of here. Like, just because you know how to keyframe in a program doesn't mean you know how to animate effectively.
Yeah.
Anyone can tell you that that's not how animation works. But it's just interesting to see that, because I see a lot of that. There are some people, honestly, who said that they thought Kirby could do certain things better, and I was like, nope, I would shut it down really quick. And that sort of thing is not okay. When people go, oh, I think so-and-so could have done it better. And it's like, why? Why do you gotta make this a comparison game between other people? I don't think it's constructive, and it's not helpful.
Oh, you mean like with like other fan groups going people saying like we could have done it better, and it's like no.
Could do better than things that Rooster Teeth was doing currently. And I'm like, oh, obviously you do not realize we are a very pale imitation.
Yeah.
We do things, we have fun with it, but we are very much just soaking up that RWBY IP with all the love that we can and sharing it to the community. But we're not them.
Yeah.
We're nowhere near them. But it's also...
Would we like to be? Sure.
we know where we sit on the totem pole, but that's okay. It's not about the totem pole. It's just not fair or respectful to treat anyone like that. That's like me walking up to some random sound guy in some project. Oh, yeah. Oh, you should just got Brian. He'll do it better than your guy. And how insulting is that?
Yeah.
If you have to tear someone else down to bring someone else up, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, that's not a compliment.
So, but anyways, to get things back on track there. Final thoughts, Forrest, Ian, what do you guys think about Jason Liebrecht's Crow?
He's got my attention. I want to see him sell it to me. He needs a conversation moment in my eyes.
Okay.
Give him a conversation, and we'll see what he can bring to the table. He'll probably need to get like a couple before I could say definitively whether or not I enjoy his Crow. Not whether or not I enjoy it more than Vic Mignogna, but just if I enjoy it at all. I've seen too little to judge, but I mean, I believe he has certainly got the ability to do so, and I really wish him luck.
We all wish him luck.
Yep.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Or in show business, break a leg.
Yeah.
For some
As they say.
Yes.
Forrest?
I gotta hear more of the growly Crow. I gotta hear gravelly.
Abandoned us so.
He's talking. Do you not hear him?
No.
Uh-oh, sorry.
Oh.
Yes, I can hear him.
Well, go. You do you, Forrest.
That's probably
I'll just
I know.
talk.
I can hear you.
Sorry, it's just us.
But
It's
in any
just
case,
Discord
yeah,
being
I think the gravelly crow voice I need to hear more of.
I mean,
Before I can really judge, but
I think that they're gonna maybe step away from that super growly. I feel like that's like drunkard Crow.
Yeah.
What you were saying was that he really wants to hear more of that growly Crow. But I feel like even come like the last season, we started losing some of that. Like
A
Well,
soft-spoken
yeah.
Crow now.
Vic has yes, but Vic has always had this really deep, resonant low end, and it definitely feels like Jason is pushing for that, but not quite getting there. Like he just doesn't, like his vocal cords just don't do that. And like I said, like going back, like it doesn't matter to me as much that he sounds exactly like Vic. It matters to me more that he feels like Vic, or if he doesn't feel like Vic, that he does something with the character that is so interesting and memorable that I go, yes, I will accept that as the new Crow.
The last thing that I
Right.
want to add while we're on this topic is what I'm doing, and I feel like it's really helped me kind of really like accepting his Crow already just so quickly, is I'm not watching it to compare. And I kind of want to challenge everyone that's listening to this to go into the next episode with this mindset, because it's really helped me a lot, because I'm honestly really picky about voices sounding right. And so what I challenge everyone to do is just watch it. Don't watch Crow's scenes with the intention of, okay, I'm watching Jason's Crow. I'm watching Jason's Crow.
Just watch Crow.
Just watch Crow.
Yeah.
Like, don't be comparing them constantly. Like, obviously, like, if he does something that's just like, that sounds weird, then sure. Like, have, formulate your opinion based off of what you genuinely feel is weird because it's Crow and it feels out of character for Crow. But don't be, like, watching it just to pick apart. Because if you go into something looking for failure, then that's all you're gonna see.
Yeah, one of my favorite stories that I ever heard. James Arnold Taylor is now the official voice of Fred Flintstone, and as I believe there have been 3 voices for Fred Flintstone because the character's been around just for that long. And the last Fred Flintstone was involved when he retired. He was involved in finding the new voice for Fred Flintstone, and when James Arnold Taylor came in to audition, he's a small guy. He's thin. He's lanky. I don't think he's that tall. And all of the producers and whatnot, they were just kind of like looking over the console at him, just like, who? This tiny guy's gonna do Fred Flintstone, right? And so they and they were watching him do the voice and listening to him, and the original and the previous voice, just like he kind of like got them all in line. Was like, no guys, stop looking at him, just listen, like look at the floor, and listen to the voice and ask yourself, is that Fred Flintstone? And all of them like went, they just listened. They went, oh,
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's how he got the part.
I'm really excited to see Crow and Winter have a scene. Just saying.
I think we've talked about everything kind of leading up. Talked a little bit about the Aesops, or the one line that I have qualms with that Ruby says is she's like Aesops. It's like it's a really weird delivery, but I think they're playing up on that wordplay.
Yeah.
So because you have
because I think initially people thought that it was Aesops, like AESOPS. And so having Ruby have that deliberate Aesops line is specifying like, oh, it's 2 separate words, but it's I see what you're doing there.
Yeah. So Pietro, I mean that's what they are. They are the Aesops. But if you say it faster enough, Aesops. Mm-hmm. So and that's what Pietro says it to put it in your head, and then Ruby kind of separates it like Aesops, like who are they? But she says it in such kind of a weird way to me. Like, it felt very weird on delivery. That was the only qualm I had line-wise. It was the one thing that kind of made me go, oh.
Would you say that to Lindsay Jones's face?
Because I know it's not Lindsay's choice to have that line be delivered that way. Maybe it was. I'm sorry, Lindsay.
See, and then she's just like, I'm sorry, Senpai, please no, just
But it was my only, but I mean, I wouldn't say that Ruby's delivery as a whole wasn't like, it didn't feel like it was Ruby. It just felt like it was spaced out.
That moment was really funny to me because, like, when she first hits, she's like on her side and she's just like, "What's going on?" And then that scene when she's just like, "Aesops," she's like suddenly on her stomach, and I'm like, this bitch is like rolling around trying to get out. Everyone else is just already like, "Yeah, we're here." Like, Ruby, why are you rolling around? You just look like an idiot. So now you've got your cape wrapped around you. What are you gonna do?
Can we talk about when they get arrested and Maria's just like, nah.
She walks me out.
Like, I don't know these kids anymore. I just remembered I have to be anywhere but here.
I just remembered I have to be anywhere but here.
I just remembered I have 3 outstanding warrants in the city of Mental.
So I feel like we've covered now. I mean, so they're headed up to Atlas now because obviously they've been arrested. But I feel like we've covered the whole episode. So
I actually do want to bring attention to something that I noticed. When they're in the back of the van. Well, obviously, to mention, the Aesops then take the relic. And so Ruby and gang is not in possession of the relic right now because Clover took the relic and then yeeted off. I thought it was interesting that his weapon kind of reminded me of Ilya's weapon.
Yeah.
He just kind of Indiana Jones'd off like into the nether.
Yeah, but the thing about it was when they were in the back of the van, everyone kind of had these really dynamic kind of like way, like Weiss kind of was really like, she looked really disappointed, Crow looked really annoyed, Nora and kind of Ren were just kind of together and whatnot. Yang was bouncing her leg really nervously. She was like doubled over, focusing on her leg, bouncing her leg really nervously.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Because one thing that's interesting is, of all of them, this is now the second time Yang has been arrested by Atlas military.
Oh,
But she looked
that's
very,
true.
very much like
And-
within herself there.
Yeah, like she looked very withdrawn, and Blake is actually, the way they animate Blake is she's kind of really, she's looking down at Yang, like, because so Yang is like doubled over, and then Blake is still up, so you can see Blake like over Yang, and she's just looking at her like, are you okay, kind of.
Wow.
And
Good
it's really,
detail,
it was really interesting because Yang was just like really nervously bouncing her leg, and I thought that was an interesting detail.
Oh,
Nice
I'm gonna go
catch.
back and watch that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think that we've hit the end of the episode. So, I want to talk about that sweet opening.
Yes.
Yes.
Can we talk about them outfit progressions where you have it's like volume 1, volume 2, or sorry, volume 1 through 3, 4 through
skip,
6,
yeah.
and then now what I guess the current, hopefully maybe
Yeah.
not next 3 years will be.
Can
But-
I talk about my tie-in to why I think they're getting the new outfits?
Sure.
So my theory, because we've seen the trailer and everything, and we've seen that they do talk to Ironwood at some point. It's been theorized that they're going to end up working with Ironwood to help them out and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're going to be kind of temporarily recruited into the ASOPs, and they're given they're kind of like, hey, we're going to give you kind of like a little bit of like funds to kind of go upgrade your gear because you look a little like
Ratty tatty.
ratty tatty and whatnot, get you some new stuff and whatnot, and they kind of have, I would honestly love to see like a filler episode that's them just shopping, them getting all of their
You're
stuff.
looking ratty tatty, and we need you to look litty titty.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that because a lot of the trailer was them like, so the scene with the Geist, like they're fighting alongside the Aesops, like the scene with the Sentinels, they're fighting with the Aesops,
Right.
like they're showing them a lot, and also the Aesops are that final shot of the opening is all the good guys. There are no bad guys in the final shot at all.
That we know of.
Well, that we know of, yeah. And so, I mean, Winter, obviously.
Shitty
But
looking dude on the left. You said I was typecasting, but he's totally an evil dude. I can tell.
she was like looking through the opening, and she's like, they look shady, and I'm like,
Bo's like, you typecasting me. I know.
she's like, I know what I said. But yeah, that's my theory. I think that they're gonna get their new stuff, because a lot of their stuff is very like, it works for not just like what their aesthetic is, but it works for like what their fighting styles are too.
Yeah.
Kind of adding to that too. I know it's a little bit. It's the end of the trailer or the end of the intro, but Bo, you pointed it out, and you pointed everything out to me in the episode. I'm like oblivious. I'm like a little kid walking in, going, "Oh, look, shiny," and you're like, "And there's this, and there's this, and there's this," and I was like. But the thing that got me is you pointed out at the end that you have it says series created by Montium, and then you have this flash of the Relic of Creation. Did anyone else
Yeah,
catch
I
that?
saw that. Yeah.
So, Relic of Creation, Monty's name, series created by Montium. I thought that was just some beautiful
Yeah.
pairing right
Especially
there.
especially if you take Indomitable from last season
Mhm.
and put all that together, like just
I'm getting chills. But I thought it was a really beautiful little, let's put the finishing touch on this and pair it off with, series created by Montium, Relic of Creation.
there was someone that went and got frame by frame. Gamble Muse sent it to me, I think is who it was that sent it. I don't know where they got it from, but someone went frame by frame and actually pieced together the entire relic. I'll show you guys, because it's an actual solid picture of the relic without it being like only partially lit
Oh,
up.
interesting.
Yeah, and so that was really cool. I definitely just brushed my microphone. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, no. So I mean, like, it looks like I think Winter is gonna come around because we see like Weiss and Winter together in the opening. So I feel like Winter isn't the Nazi that you're worried that
I
she
kind
is.
of got the vibe that Winter, because that expression that Winter has on her face when she's kind of like looking over her shoulder at Weiss,
Mhm.
I kind of really got this like feeling of like pride.
Yeah.
Like she was kind of like, because it shows Ironwood, and then I love the dynamic of he has his gun, he lowers it, the snow comes around and kind of just engulfs him, and it transitions to Jacques and Whitley.
Mhm.
And then it transitions to Weiss and Winter, and it's Weiss and Winter that have the Schneedus Company logo behind them, not Whitley and Jacques, which I thought was really interesting. But then also, Winter's new threads are good shit.
I want to see Jacques get punched in the face.
I do too. But like Winter looked really proud to me. She looked kind of. She has kind of like this little smirk like over her shoulder of like you're doing good. Like I see you, Weiss. And Weiss kind of looks a little bit flustered or even surprised of kind of like, wait, you're proud of me almost? Like that was kind of the vibe that I got from that.
What do you want to bet that Winter might be a temporary villain?
I think she will.
Yeah.
I think she'll be. I think Ironwood's gonna be the big bad.
Yeah, me too.
But it's also gonna be in couple. I think with Watts and Tyrion's manipulation along the way, because Watts is definitely gonna have a play with what's going on.
Well, there's a shot of Oscar fighting.
Yeah, there's a shot of Oscar fighting Ironwood.
So now I paused it, and his eyes are definitely really yellow.
Oh.
So, but they also don't look. They don't look like they're angry.
Oscar also is he almost kind of looks like he's smirking a bit, and they don't look angry. I think they're sparring. I think it's a misdirection.
So they're training.
It's a feign.
I think that maybe it could be like maybe you know they're I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm bullshitting this theory right now. I swear to God, I haven't put any thought into this theory before this very second. I'm saying it right now. I think they're gonna go up and they're gonna be like, "Yo, Ironwood, this dude is Ozpin," and Ironwood's gonna be like, "Bullshit." Like, no, seriously. And Ironwood's like, "Okay, well then prove it. Ozpin's the only one who's ever been able to beat me in a fight."
They've done. I mean, they've faked us out before, like back in Volume 2 with the food fight. Like they removed that shot where like Ruby catches Weiss and everyone's like, "Oh man, something's gonna happen to Weiss."
Yeah,
but, like,
and they had them in their original,
and
they had them in their actual combat gear, not their school uniforms. Well, yeah, but I think that would be a really interesting way. Is that it's just like bullshit. Okay, fight me because the only person that's ever been able to beat me is Ozpin.
But that means
so like let Ozpin. But what if Ozpin doesn't show up?
Yeah.
I mean, he did show up, but what if it has to be Oscar basically bullshitting from the moves that he's picked up? So Oscar's going to have to beat him as Oscar, not as Ozpin. I think that might be an interesting
Or he's going to have to make men's with Oz.
His eyes were really yellow.
Yeah. So I think there's going to have to be some redemption between Oscar and Oz, I think.
Yeah.
I this season want Ruby to have just a hangout day with Penny.
Yeah.
and it's just everything in chibi but better, and I want something wholesome and happy, and let Ruby have that moment to be happy.
Yeah.
They've worked hard. They've lost people, but they're still good.
They've lost a bunch of people. This is the first time that they've gotten someone back.
And then you know have this wholesome scene, have them like go and have a day together, and then have Penny be like, "So Ruby, why isn't Pyrrha with you guys anymore?"
No!
It's a beautiful thing. Here's the thing.
No!
Like, having to explain that I think would be really painful, but then also, you know, maybe forcing Ruby to realize the feelings she had to struggle with and kind of explaining that to Penny. And maybe Penny's going to feel a little guilt for not trying to outreach to her. And we talked about why didn't she probably reach out to her when she was put back together. And they've been traveling.
I mean, the
Nobody's been able
CCT
to
towers
find
are
her.
also down too.
Mhm.
Like global communication has been brought to a crawl, is what the words were.
Yeah, but
So,
I mean,
she could have sent her snail mail though.
the two teams have been gone traveling. There's no means of hunting them down or finding them really. The only time Ironwood gets to know anything about what's going on is when Crow sends him some mail to him. But other than that, like,
The chat is just like, Bo, no. Thanks, I hate it.
I mean,
no thanks.
excuse that we were right, Bo. That was a terrible thing to say.
I really hope we learn a little bit more about Weiss's family. I want to know.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
definitely seems like we're gonna get it because like it was Jacques and Whitley were in the
But
intro.
Also,
Penny was prominently in the intro. Penny's so moe. I love her.
Penny can just. We're just gonna go and hold hands vigorously.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was someone that took a screenshot from when Penny launched herself at RWBY and was like, okay,
Oh, I saw that screenshot.
we didn't see that. We didn't see it. But, and it's like hyper zoomed in and she still has her little backpack on. So
Oh,
like,
does she? See, I thought you were talking about the screenshot where they were like in the middle of like the stretch squash animation.
Oh,
Where
I mean
she-
those are great
Yeah.
too. Like I love those. It's like the whole first scene with Penny showing back up, but it's just cursed images of Penny while she's just like stretched out.
So
and whatnot.
stretch and squash is so critical in animation.
Especially if you want to get that kind of like almost cartoony vibe.
Yeah.
If you want it to feel real, almost, because people, even how they move, there's this stretch and squash. I just combined the words to movement and for things to feel valid. Things don't just move in a flat sense. When you press against the surface, there's a squash. Things aren't the same, height that they used to be. And it's the same with walking with this sort of timber, but it's less dramatic. With animation, to make something feel fluid, it's almost critical, and it's hitting that fine tune to create that illusion of movement, whether it's with a motion blur, squash, and stretch, or other means, those balances, that creates this dynamic animation that we can know and love today, which isn't present as much in earlier volumes. You can't find as many of those scenes where they play with the models like that because they just didn't have the capability to do it without breaking the models. So now there's a much more detailed rig, there's a much more detailed model that they're using, that they've worked hard to create off the system, that they can create these dynamic
Excuse me, I just sneezed, man.
Oh.
I wanted to point out because someone said, Weiss's mom is, the interesting thing is before this episode, because the only one that we've gotten confirmed so far is Christina V. Christina V is going to be voicing a character this volume, which I'm really excited to see because I've been a fan of hers for a while. And everyone's been assuming that it was Willow, Mama Schnee. But two of the Aesops are chicks.
That's true.
That's
Robin.
true.
Robin Hill. She could be Robin Hill for all we know.
Oh, that's true.
What about
There's
the
a
missing
bunch-
journalist?
I just have
Yeah.
I'll talk about it later. I just had a revelation about something.
Oh no.
Oh, I know what you had a revelation about, but we can't talk.
Well, not that. No, about it. Anyways, I'll talk to you.
Okay.
Um,
That's post.
but yeah, so I think, do you, Ian, Forrest, you guys got anything to add on that topic?
That's exactly
one
what
thing
I
I
figured.
saw on the
God?
God?
show.
I hear God.
Oh, that's right. We can't hear
God
that.
damn it.
Sorry, God. Please
We can't. So does that mean
Go
we're
for it,
going to the
Forrest.
good place and they're going to the bad place?
All right, God. Please tell me what you think.
So I saw, so there's a transition in, they're looking at like a monitor or like a television screen with Ironwood's face on it. There's a bunch of people like throwing rocks at it. When they throw the rock through the screen, my friend pointed this out, I was watching with, it turns to Papa Schnee really quick. I don't know if we covered that, but that was like, okay, so I think there's going to be this, at least going back to our rebels. And by the way, is the rebel leader Robin Hood? Is that?
Oh, it's not. She's not a rebel leader. She's in the election for a mantle council seat.
I'm still calling her rebel leader, but okay.
She's literally a politician. Like, there's actual like screenshots that prove that she is a politician. I'm not saying she can't be also a rebel.
Doesn't mean she can't be both, I think.
I think she was a huntress because you see her in Crow in the opening fighting
With her
Tyrion.
like fancy fan,
Yeah.
Her fancy
shield
fan,
thing.
Yeah, she's got
Glass, is that you?
it's almost
Glass?
like but bigger. But yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the narrative that whether or not she's the leader of the rebels or not, or she's the leader of the opposition political party, if you will, I think their narrative is going to be very much like Ironwood's out to lunch and Papa Schnee is running things and he's not running them well.
I think Papa Schnee and Ironwood are gonna have some real contentions because they already have leading up to before Weiss leaves, and you can see that. So I'm curious to see how Ironwood now has because they said that council is under his jurisdiction out of fear, and the stuff that Pietro says that it's because of this untrustingness about what's going on, and that there's somebody who's possibly a traitor on the inside and a genius. But the council's under some, so in turn Schnee has to report because that's why there's so much money being lost by the Schnee Dust Company because dust trade is not going out and the embargo is literally crippling Mantle and the rest of the world.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. So we see in the intro, right? We see Watts hacking. He's like at a computer and he's got like stuff on the election pulled up. And he's. It's clear to me now that he's the hacker behind all of that they were talking about.
I think it's pretty
kind of
clear.
Stab was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Which is it's good that they're finally introducing a hacking character because I think one of my big things in Volume 3 was like, dude, they need to get better Wi-Fi security on their computers. Like, seriously, Cinder just hacks in with no effort and completely controls all of their robots and their ships.
Well, I don't think it was ever Cinder.
No, it was never Cinder
Right.
because when Cinder had her scroll up and she found Penny's like layout and her schematics, there was the Watts's W down in the corner. He was back in volume 3. He was the one that wrote that program.
Yeah, and so it makes a lot more sense if he's the brains behind this, and especially if he's part of the Atlas military, if he helped develop their military systems, then he'd know how to hack into them, right?
I think one of the brilliant things is that we think that we know what's going on, and then here we are 7 seasons in seeing stuff that's happened so far ago, and how it ties back in, and even something as simple as the relics. The topic that's really been there from the get-go, we just didn't know.
I want to say another thing that's going to make a lot of people go, no, though.
Okay, but
is, so, remember how Cinder helped them hack all of the Atlas military systems?
Oh, no.
And
Bo?
all of the robots got controlled?
Oh, no.
Yes,
Penny's a robot.
Penny's a robot.
Bo?
Penny's a robot.
What if...
Penny works for Salem now?
What if they've been able to like monitor what Penny has been doing, and what if they're able to take control of her?
Okay, but can you imagine evil Penny?
I can.
No.
I can. And
That will be fairly easy, actually.
you know what would be even sadder is because she has a soul. Obviously, like, what if she can like still maintain her free thinking, but it's her body that is taken
Let's
over?
change the subject!
Your prediction about Shat was right, though. Yeah, no, so I don't want to think about that. Okay.
Insert the
about it more.
Tina has her finger up.
Yes. So the last thing I want to say about this before I just want to like go and cry about all these sad things Bo was putting in my head.
Penny's gonna die again.
Fuck you. My absolute favorite scene of all of RWBY up until this point is that moment where Ruby looks and the expression washes over her and this joy of just seeing Penny. I think it's been the most wholesome moment. It's something that didn't take any words to really push anywhere, but just to watch these expressions and these two exchange these looks and it just be so heartwarming and wholesome after all this loss and sadness and battle. It was something so simple yet so eloquent, and it is hands down my favorite scene of the whole series.
Yeah, I was actually saying to Tina that I thought that delivery of the line was kind of awkward, but then Tina explained to me, like, you know, all of the emotions coming in and, like, that visualization of Ruby, like, coming to terms with what she's looking at. And you're right, I think that's really beautiful.
At first, it's again, just kind of backtracking a bit, she's like, oh my gosh, it is happiness, and then it's the Sal, and she's like, what? You? Oh, Patience, and then,
And it was that moment Ruby realized she was going to die.
Yeah. Penny just
There you
straight up
go.
murdered Ruby. Yeah, so I think we've been going for a little while. We've been going almost 2 hours.
Yikes.
So we should probably wrap this up. Let's do final predictions for what's coming in the next episode. Who wants
Rock
to go
fall,
first?
everyone dies.
I'll go. Oh, you go.
We can go
Okay.
left or right.
I'll go. I love the idea of it just opening up and they're all like in this jail cell and like someone's pacing back and forth and you just hear the sounds of like heels clicking and then you just hear this like very just the sigh or maybe even like slow claps and then Winter just steps around the corner and says something along the lines of like, you know, Weiss, when I told you to stick it to the man, this was not what I meant. Something along those
I can see
lines.
that.
Of like, you know, just being like, you know, like, I appreciate what you're doing, but maybe don't go get arrested.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see this moment with Winter where she visits them maybe and they're being arrested or whatever this appeal is, and it almost shakes Weiss's world because maybe we'll see that cold Winter, that emotionless, that hard Winter from that military life, and this martial law that they've been under, and I think it's really gonna shake Weiss. I really feel like that's something like that's gonna happen
Why do you
to
hurt me?
listen. That's just predictions. I mean, you talked about Penny. Like, you best watch. I'll be sending out them predictions, too. And so I really feel like we're going to feel like that Winter is maybe not a good guy at this point, or even with Ironwood, and we're going to feel really untrusting of them because the characters already have this huge distrust of them. Yeah. So Crow's already questioning it. The idea was pros to Weiss, and she was just like, no, that's unheard of, but everyone else is on that same page of like, we can't trust Ironwood. I don't think we can trust Winter. And Weiss is the only one holding out, and I think maybe we're going to have to shake the branch a little bit to keep the emotional tension to follow through.
I still think that Winter would choose Weiss over Atlas if it came down to it.
But if she, I think it might take her a little bit to get there.
Yeah.
I think she's going to be a little lost in her, she's going to be very conflicted.
So if you really want me to hurt you, Bo, since you've been hurting us all night.
Sure, go for it. Do your worst.
So I think that this arrest is probably going to reach the ears of Ironwood. So I think Ironwood is probably going to be prevalent in the next couple episodes. And I think, so we saw from the trailer that Ironwood recruits them to try to help them. How far that goes, who knows? But I also predict that, Winter is going to, I think she's going to be this hard, harsh Winter who, may be slightly brainwashed somewhat. And I think the first person who's going to notice that is going to be Weiss. And I think the second person who's going to notice that and try to do something about it is going to be Crow. Because I think Crow is probably going to try to maybe talk to Winter and, try to get those reactions out of her like he used to. And there's just going to be nothing there, and that's going to really make people concerned.
So, as far as my predictions are concerned, I think you're all right. I think this is definitely going to reach the ears of Ironwood. I think we're definitely going to see Winter in the next episode. But I think y'all are thinking too small, like in terms of like, oh, it's going to reach the ears of Ironwood. I think this is going to reach the ears of Jacques.
Oh, fair.
And maybe.
Yeah, but screw him though. What's he gonna do?
Maybe I don't. Now, as far as seeing him in the next episode, I'm not too sure about that. But I have a feeling that something involving Jacques is going to be the cliffhanger for the next episode.
Maybe.
Like they're gonna be like, okay, time. Like we have like Weiss Schnee is wanted. Like she freaking ran away from home. There's like giving Weiss back to her family. Like that's. I feel like there's a lot of people who want that to happen.
I feel like Jacques doesn't want her back.
Yeah, but Weiss already said that if the Atlas military catches them, they might bring her back to her father.
Yeah.
So that someone wants her back with Jacques.
There's that possibility, but I
think he wants her back.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that he wants. Hang on,
he wants her back. He wants to put her in a cage.
Yeah, no, it's and that's exactly it. I think he wants her back. Not so that she can like go resume her position as heiress or anything. I think he wants her back just so that she can stop embarrassing the family.
Yeah, or so he can show her how much control he has over her and then recondition her, maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's a big flex, and he just wants to shit on her doorstep, and I just want Ruby to slap him in the face.
I read that fan fiction once.
I wrote it. So
Like, I know this has nothing to do with the episodes, but one of the things I actually am really excited for is I want to see character development with Whitley, because I think he has...
You mean Shitley?
Yes. Because I think he's completely bought into his father's indoctrination, and I think he is the epitome of what happens if you let Jacques control you.
See, I think the opposite. I don't think he's bought in at all. I think he's very much a product of his father. He's smart, he's ingenious, and he knows his father will fall eventually, and he will usurp that throne now, because you have Weiss out of the way. Winter's not part of the equation. He has taken the proverbial throne. His father has combed him and trained him to be this conniving, manipulative little twat, and I think he's just even more so. He hates his father just as much as everyone else.
I think that he's very much just as much a victim of his father's emotional abuse as everyone else, though.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want anything bad to happen to Whitley. I want him to have a really rude awakening, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of, like, realizing how much of a shitly he's been.
Yeah. So I'm curious where that's going to develop, because you're right. Tina, it might be that, he is a product of his father and he's just waiting for his father to fall so he can be the new big bad. Mm-hmm. I want to see if it develops to that, or I want to see, is he a victim just like Weiss is? I'm really excited about the Schnee family dynamics and how Willow, comes into it, so I'm excited for this arc, this volume.
He kind of alluded to that, though, a little bit, when he's like, oh, okay, you're not the heiress anymore, it's mine now. He's like, oh, I'm going to go with father, I'm going to play his little game. But he knows that he's playing a game with his father, but his father doesn't realize he's just as much a piece on the board. And I feel like that's how Whitley is. I think he's really smart.
I think they're probably playing three-dimensional chess with each other. So I'm
Forest
excited
and
to see. God.
Personally, I don't think that. I think it would take a lot for Jacques to get his hands on Weiss.
I mean,
Even if he wanted to.
She's been arrested.
And he's on
Yeah,
council.
but I think
She's
but
been
Ironwood
arrested, but-
knows
Yeah.
how much
And
she
Ironwood
dislikes him.
Yeah, Ironwood's on her side. Last we saw.
Also,
Yeah.
a fair point that they are acting with the independency of adults at this point. And it would be
Yeah.
like you would have to force her like by military transport to put like if she was still like if Jacques was still her guardian per se, there would be a case to be made, but she is acting on her own without her father's like need for permission or in any kind of capacity, and I think that Ironwood is going to respect that, and if he won't, I think Winter will.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that if Jacques wanted to put his hands on her, he would have to do something exceptionally shady and flex really hard to get his hands on her. And even then, I don't think it would really end well for him either way.
But I also don't put it past him.
Yeah.
I don't put it past him either. Like, I definitely think that that's
a good point, though.
I
Yeah.
think that maybe kind of going off of what you're saying, Ian, is maybe Jacques will hear through the grapevine that Weiss has been arrested, that she's in someone's grasp, like she's obtainable now, and he's going to try to get her, and I think that Ironwood or Winter will be the ones to kind of step in and be like, she's made her decision, Jacques. Like, if she wanted to stay, she would have.
Yeah.
She's made her choice. Like, you need to fuck off.
I think Robin knows
Yeah.
the Winter Maiden is because Bo pointed out.
Oh.
I just feel like she might be.
I did point that out.
I feel like you say things and I'm like, yeah, that sounds good.
I'm really good at selling bullshit. I was a door-to-door salesman. I had to make money somehow.
Like, I think that like all the maidens we've seen thus far have been like really prominent, like out there, trying to do shit. That what if like Willow's the Winter Maiden and it's someone who's like trying to hide or someone who like wants nothing to do with anything?
I'm gonna ask her why the fuck she didn't bitch slap Jacques.
Yeah, if she has the power
That's
to
fair.
Yeah.
bitch slap him so hard he would literally see the god of light himself. Like,
That's fair.
Why didn't
I'm
she do
just
that?
thinking like it would be cool if we had a maiden who was just all like, I'm not gonna do it. Well, I
She's
mean,
like,
I guess we have Raven. Raven kind of was like that.
But I mean, think about it. Instead of fighting the war with fights, fight it with politics.
It's fair. It's
I
a different
think
type
that-
of fighting.
And you can see that she's a fighter, but she's just it looks a little tired too.
That's fair.
From what we see of her a little bit in that opening.
I'm so excited for the rest of Volume 7!
What about you, Forrest?
Yeah, Forrest?
I think I'm excited to see Ironwood and Jacques go at it again. I think that'll be fun. But and whether he hands over, I don't think he's gonna hand over Weiss. I don't think that's gonna happen. But I'm excited to see Jacques because we see this fight scene in the intro between between Ironwood and Oscar, or Ironwood and potentially Osmond. So that'll be fun to see. I want to see. And then maybe throw Crow into the mix,
Yeah.
I want
That'll be
KRWBY Winter version 2.
Also, I know that it has
that
nothing to
would
do
be
with
very
predictions,
cool.
but can I just say how much I love the 2D animation in the opening?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the slowed down frames or the lack of frames when you have the silhouette version of Ruby.
Frame skipping?
in before they show Team RWBY, and then they show Jean, Ren, Oscar, Nora. I know it's not the order that they're in, but I'm gonna be wrong about this again because I thought Team Stark was gonna be Team Turquoise because the letters worked. But assuming that Oscar might potentially take the lead if he starts being able to kind of embrace the knowledge and the powers that Ozpin has, in before they're called Team Orange or NJ.
Ooh.
That's what I'm thinking.
like
I've been
that.
trying real hard to figure out what Jean, Ren, Oscar, Nora could be.
To be fair, I think
To be fair?
Fear. I was thinking and speaking at the same time. I'm tired. To be fair, I think that Oscar would end up being the leader because Ozpin is this kind of not omnipotent being, but he's definitely been around the block for a few hundreds of years.
Millennia.
A few hundreds of thousands of years.
We were just talking about how, like, in The Wizard of Oz, you know, the Oz, the great, the powerful, who's so scary, and then Toto moves the curtain aside, just a man, just like you and me, and that's like what Oscar is. It's just all like, you know, they reveal that Ozpin doesn't have a plan. He's just another guy like you or me.
Yeah.
So that reveal with Ozpin is supposed to be Zwei should have just fucking come in and like
No attention to the man behind the curtain.
no, exactly.
The great Oz has spoken.
But yeah, so is that it? Are we?
That's it.
All right.
Elizabeth Maxwell, I love you. You are an amazing voice actress, and it's really good to have you back. Just saying.
All right. Well, I think this was good. This is a long podcast. This is one of the longest podcasts
I think it was a good one though.
Yeah.
Like, the hype is really
Worth
real. What was it that you said to me, Ian? You messaged me after you saw the episode because you were like, I was cautiously optimistic, but I'm like all in now or something like that.
Let me see. I was cautiously optimistic. Screw it. I'm on board. I am literally throwing my money at the screen.
Has given me a complex because I want to be so happy, but I am cautiously optimistic. I don't want to let myself be happy, and then by the end of the season they kill Penny off again, and this time in a more permanent sense. So I just don't want to think about that. I wish I could just enjoy this moment. So every time I hop in the Ruby 7 Spoilers chat on Discord, which you should join if you're not in it, is I just scream and post pictures of Penny. I've already drawn her.
So, housekeeping things for finally, we definitely join our Discord. We have a Twitter. Be sure to join and follow us there.
That's at RWBY ABRG.
Super simple.
Yep.
Don't forget not to pirate.
Yep.
Don't forget to keep spoilers.
If you are so inclined, you can support us on Patreon. Because money's cool. It helps us do things.
We could do more things like this if that
that's true.
At the very least, with
Get an actual budget.
Yeah. You know, the Patreon. Some of the perks of the Patreon is you get. I'm so sorry, I just burped. Like,
Don't worry, the microphone didn't pick it up on our end.
Good. I'm real sorry about that. Is you get early access to some of our like, you know, recorded content, like VR shorts, abridged episodes, all that jazz. You know, get some exclusive screenings with a lot of the cast and the crew, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes stuff like bloopers, funny like audio clips, funny video clips that we do like while we're filming or we're recording and everything like that. We also have a new Perpetually Ajar episode coming out this coming Tuesday.
Yep, that is true. It is mixed. I have sent it off. It is done.
Yes.
I mean, it's all on ZD now, so if it's late, it's up to him. It's his fault.
I'll keep calling out.
Yeah, so we've got the new Perpetually Ajar episode coming out. That's every other Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern, ideally. That would be the most ideal time. We just recently had our Halloween VR short drop on the channel, Pancakes in Peril, that Tina and I both co-directed. Brian over there did a lot of the audio stuff. We had
it is my job.
We had Tyler Olson do the music composition. He did an excellent job.
Knocked it out of the park.
Especially considering he doesn't know RWBY at all.
Yeah.
Like, he hit those leitmotifs really well.
Yeah.
And again, thank you to everyone who tuned into the extra live stream, because that was absolutely insane. Because of the time change, we ended up streaming for 25 hours.
I think that happened last year too.
Did it? It's really funny, and it's really funny too because I keep looking at like the videos tab on the KRWBY YouTube, and it's just like processing, and it's like a 25-hour video. So have fun with that. I know that there were a lot of really funny clips that came from the stream, so we're really excited to kind of see what the editing team can do, the video editing department can do, and is that?
I think that's everything. Yes, thanks for tuning in. Oh, I guess final thing is regarding this here podcast. next week we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming where you won't be able to see our faces. We'll be back to
What a shame.
Yeah, we'll be back to our overlay, but we're still we're planning on having a bunch of guests on this season, including Annika. And talking about RWBY, having a good old time. It's gonna be fun. I'm sure Tina will have you on again.
Hopefully,
James,
if it gets better,
hopefully, some of our other, Team RWBY voice actors from the Abridged.
I know Katie really would like to.
Yeah, I know. Katie's gonna be on if it kills me.
Yeah. I was like, man, it's too bad we can't plan for her to
we might.
It's on a timer.
We might get to be. Actually, a good time to do that. Like, we might do another live in-person one like this for ALA.
I think we absolutely will.
Yeah, and so I think it's not confirmed yet as to whether Katie is going to be able to go, but
she is for sure.
She is. She's for sure going to be able to go.
We also have now added Steven to that roster. So yeah, Steven and Katie are both confirmed. We're gonna have it's gonna be a pretty litty titty party. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I was gonna wait. Should I say it?
You can go ahead and say it.
We have panels confirmed for LA.
Yeah.
We'll be there as industry.
Oh, we got industry status again. Yeah.
I didn't say that part yet in the Discord, but yes, we have 5 panels in this industry. I won't say what those panels are yet, but they are very informative, very fun.
Yep.
It's going to be exciting. So stay tuned for those updates also in the Discord. So.
Yep.
And on the Twitter.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're definitely looking forward to it. So yeah, we'll probably be doing this podcast again live from ALA. And yeah, I think having Katie on for that would be real cool.
I think we're going to be doing a lot of live stuff from ALA.
Yeah, probably.
I'm so
You're
excited!
going to keep me busy, huh?
Oh, the suite is going to be the broadcasting room.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Brian, don't sleep anyway. Who cares?
Brian
so, definitely stay tuned for that. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has been a lot of fun. We will see you next week. Bye!
Bye-bye!
Bye.
See you guys.
Hey, Bo, how long do I have to wait?
Just